America's favorite odd couple is back on pay-per-view.
Shut up, moron. Shut up.
Crankier and grumpier than before.
Buon appetito.
Should we ask her for some garlic bread?
I'd rather kiss a dead moose's butt.
So I'll call you?
Jack Lemmon, Walter Matthau, and Margaret, Sophia Loren. The comedy hit Grumpier Old Men on pay-per-view.
Vacation. The least you can do is pretend to work.
Break packs are their business. Savings are their mission.
We don't take no for an answer.
No.
Okie dokie.
And disaster is their bottom line. Chris Farley.
That guy in a little coat.
Did you live under power lines as a kid or something?
David Spade. Tommy Boy.
It looks real.
Everything they ever wanted.
We got lots of stuff to eat.
But when they stumbled into the Biodome,
The doors are sealed.
all they needed
We're stuck here.
was a way out. Pauly Shore,
What do you boys want? To die and come back as a leotard?
Stephen Baldwin,
Hemp is an excellent source of photosynthesis.
Excuse me?
Biodome, rated PG-13.
We're heading for Sturgis. The bad boys and girls of WCW straddle their hogs and head for the world-famous Sturgis Rally. We're gonna take you places you've never seen before. You'll smell the gasoline burning and hear the tires squeal. Make the ride to Sturgis for...
Billy Zane is Detective Joe D. Foster in a riotous takeoff on a Hollywood classic.
A woman has disappeared, and I fear that she's fallen into the hands of the psycho killer.
Don't you understand? He hates his mother.
What?
Right.
Nightmarish nostalgia.
Yes.
Maniacal murders.
I didn't even get a chance to...
Dom DeLuise and Martin Mull co-star in The Silence of the
Of all
Hand.
the things I've lost, I think I miss my mind the most.
'Cause it's a deadly game, and I don't know the words. Deadly game. What's up, guys? I am ready for this one. WWF Survivor Series 1998. Deadly Game is our watch-along tonight. Hello to the 40 or 50 of you or so who are already hanging out here in the chat. This one is going to be fun. It is November. It is time for Survivor Series. So we're going to do some Survivor Series watch-alongs as many Sundays as we can this month. And we're kicking things off tonight with Survivor Series 1998. Definitely want to knock out 1995 before this month is over, and maybe some other earlier ones, 92, 93, 94, somewhere in there. We're going to kind of focus on those this year, and maybe a later yeared one. A lot of people have been throwing out 2003 and some other ones that maybe we'll do near the end of the month, but we're going to concentrate on the 90s as we kick off November here, and this is a very interesting pay-per-view because on Wednesday is the 25th anniversary of the Screwjob. This pay-per-view was 1 year after that, and WWE kind of did a spoof on what happened to them the year before in the finish here with The Rock. Brilliant swerve that was pulled off to perfection, I believe. Back in the day, I watched all of this in real time. I was going to shows. I was an absolute maniac WWF fan at this time, and I sat right there in my apartment with my buddies watching this tournament, and I don't know if any of us really saw this swerve coming. I think maybe it was in the back of our minds, but because you knew something was up. You know, Vince being all up Mankind's ass was a little weird, considering he probably had better options and whatnot, but still, the way they tied everything together at the end, putting the belt on The Rock, which still blew my mind at the time, putting the belt on a guy that's only been in the business 2 years was pretty crazy to me, and I wasn't sure how I felt about it, to be honest. By the time we'd get into 99 and 2000, I was Team Rock, but here I wasn't quite sold on the man just yet, and him carrying the WWE title after so many people like Brett, Shawn, Savage, Hogan, and guys like that had carried it before, was just surprising to me that they put the belt on The Rock this early. It worked out okay for Dwayne. He went on to do a couple of things after WWE. I think he like franchised out a Taco Bell or something. I think he does that. He managed a Staples for a little while, and I think he mows lawns during his spare time for some extra money. But you know, back then, The Rock was going to be a blue chipper, as Jim Ross said when he debuted at Survivor Series '96. Here we are 2 years later. The boy is winning the WWE title. So this is going to be fun. We're going to talk about the circumstances that led to this title vacation and vacationation. I don't know what the word vacating is for that is, and the tournament that was held. And I went to a lot of shows during Austin's firing when he didn't call the Taker and Kane match down the middle and all that stuff that led to him being rehired, entered into the tournament, and a lot of stuff going on the show. And they crammed a lot into, according to Peacock, 2 hours, 44 minutes, and 53 seconds. So just under 2 hours and 45 minutes. And they crammed a lot of matches in here. In order to do that, kind of like WrestleMania 4, they needed to have some buys or some quick wins, and we got that here. And I thought for time management purposes, this was one of the better managed shows of all time. When you think about just 1 month before the show we watched last, right? 2 weeks ago, I think, Halloween Havoc 1998, that ran so incredibly long that they missed the whole main event. This is how you truly time out a pay-per-view. So we will have a good time watching this. Let me cruise to the chat here and say hello to everybody, and then we will hit play within the next 5 minutes here. That way, it'll be a nice even 3-hour stream, and I'm not keeping you guys up too late. Hopefully you guys are enjoying that extra hour sleep we got last night. I know I am. Yesterday was a long day for me, and I have football pulled up on the TV here. We can monitor that score, Chiefs and Titans, and it's going to be a good Sunday night in the Podcastle. I got my Stella open. I also have some IPAs, but they were not cold yet, so I chucked them in the fridge. By the time I finish this, I'll open one of those up. I got all my gear, my normal stuff. I'm ready to rock and roll. Hopefully you guys are as well. Good evening to Gerard316. Favorite Survivor Series. Funny that 2 years after this pay-per-view, Rock wins the title. Stone Cold 2 years after his pay-per-view debut at WrestleMania 12. He won it too. That's an interesting stat. Tatanani in the house. Good to see all the channel members. Welcome Ray Frand as well. We Are Pro Wrestling is here. I know you will have some stats to share with us as we go through here as well for as long as you hang out. Big J in the house as well. WWF fan for life, forever, is also here. John J.E. Dennett, Divine Ricks, and Isaac rounding out some more channel members here. The Juliet is in the house. J.R. Falls, Ben Espinoza, Andy Linnell, Deshaun Robinson, another channel member, good friend of mine. Good to see you, and happy Sunday to you. Colin Norman Wright, Always a pleasure to see you hanging around here in the chat. I lost my place. Where are we at? David Brown is here. Nice. You're going to be doing just like us, David. We're watching both. We're doing double duty here. Football, wrestling. That's what some Sundays are all about. Jimmy's Reviews and Archives are in the house. So is JL. You thought today was Monday. Well, you better get it together, JL. Probably because there was a pay-per-view yesterday. But no, today is Sunday. Tomorrow, I believe. Let me check. What comes after Sunday? Yeah, tomorrow is Monday. So, yeah, we're good. So that means Monday Night Raw is on because Raw airs on Monday, which is tomorrow. So, yeah, keep that in mind for tomorrow. It is, in fact, Monday. You heard it here first. J.R. Falls in the house. Typhu. George Morris. There you are, buddy. Good to see you, man. $5 from you. Hey, Greg, how are you doing? Survivor Series 98, 10 out of 10. Big surprise. Watched this in Indiana with my girlfriend at the time. Was in 11th grade. Survivor Series 91 watch along, man. George, we might have to get to 91. You suggested a bunch. Was it yesterday during the stream? I think you said like 92, 93, 94. 95's on there as well, or 91 is on there as well because of Brett and Perfect. But 92 was good because it was Brett and Sean. 95 was good. It was Brett and Diesel. There's a lot of good ones. I got to give it some thought. And it's been a couple of weeks since I put up a members poll and let the members decide. So we're probably going to determine at least one of those Survivor Series that way. But as always, dude, good to see you. And this is going to be fun watching this again. I watched it in my living room. I still have the original recorded copy from pay-per-view. And what's interesting about this show, I don't know if many of you remember this, WWE tried something different after this pay-per-view. I have the whole thing recorded. After Survivor Series 1998 went off the air, they ran like an hour-long special on the Home Shopping Network where they pushed their merch and they had a lot of the talent doing interviews. I know the Outlaws were on there and probably The Rock too, doing interviews, promos as they were trying to sell the merch. It was almost like a post-show recap tied in with selling shit. It was interesting, and they never really did that again. But I remember to have the whole thing recorded. Maybe one day that's something I could share somewhere without having any copyright bullshit to worry about. But anywho, let's move on with the shout-outs. Mike Witt, good to see you as well. Nice to see all the channel members in the house. Zane G is here, and so is Jeff McMahon. Right on. Good to see you guys as well. Speaking of the screw job, yeah, I remember this We Are Pro Wrestling. A month after this pay-per-view was the release of Wrestling with Shadows. I remember at the time, everybody was talking about how WWE kind of got a one-up on Wrestling with Shadows by doing a screw job finish here in 98, right ahead of that VHS tape release. And man, I had to mail away from that thing in Canada, had to wait, 3 or 4 weeks, mail a personal check, like a handwritten out check to Canada, sit there and wait a while for that VHS tape to arrive and for me to watch Wrestling with Shadows. And I sat there on the edge of my couch, biting my lip, watching that thing. It was nuts. Speaking of VHS tapes, here we go. Deadly Game, Survivor Series 1998. I do have the original, and I also have this BS. This is from one of those kind of like box sets where they had all the VHS, so I got like a 98 box set. So that's kind of like the discount copy, and then the real shebang is right here. Survivor Series 1998 Deadly Game. They made that whole skull and only used it for one pay-per-view. They did bust it out at the WrestleMania I went to, WrestleMania 15, during that like rage party thing. They brought the skull, just set it up there just for fun. But I hope the skull is doing well. I miss the skull, and I would love for them to bring it back. But yes, We Are Pro Wrestling. You are right about that. Ramon Coffee is in here as well. Vash Starwin, I'm not sure if I got you. Zach Goller, good to see you. Ramon, I got you as well. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody there. Divine Ricks, I know I hit you up as well. Good to see everybody in here. But since we've been running our mouth for now 17 minutes, we need to start hit and play on this pay-per-view, so it is not going too long. So go over to your Peacock. Go to the WWE tab, pull up the Survivor Series, and you want to go to Season 12, Episode 1. Like I said, 2 hours and 44 minutes and 53-second runtime on this. You guys know the drill. Once we hit play, the timer right above my head will begin to run, and we can just go by that. So just sync up with the timer with your Peacock, and everything is just hunky-dory. You guys know the drill. If you are watching on another platform, WWE Network overseas, watching a DVD, watching a VHS tape, something like that, you might not match up perfectly, because of the edits and the differences between the platforms or whatnot. But for you Peacock users, it should be just fine for us. So hopefully you guys have got your fingers on the trigger. 2 weeks ago, I think I botched it. I got it right last week, but 2 weeks ago, I actually did not hit it at the right time, and I had to be 2 seconds off the whole time, which I hated. All right. There we go. I've got my fingers lined up. Hopefully you guys do as well. We are going to do a countdown from 3. and we will hit play together. Are y'all ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, play. Boom. Nailed it.
14 men with a dream. Power. Recognition.
So right off the bat, by the way, don't skip any intros or anything. Right off the bat, I'm questioning if this like music is legit or if this is some sort of editing job. Because truth be told, I don't think I've ever watched any sort of official WWE release of this show. Anytime I ever went back and watched this, it was of my own recording. I recorded everything off pay-per-view back then. Who's doing the voiceover here? Taker? I don't even know who's not Taker. I don't know who's doing this.
Whatever it takes. Destiny. Whatever means necessary. Pain. Sacrifice. Agony. Whatever.
It was pretty ballsy of them to do a tournament of this size during this era in one night. It's a deadly... And me and my friends, we used to make fun of the song. It just sounded so weird. Like, it was just a really weird... It's a deadly game. It's such a... Well, at least they're not editing that. It was just such a weird, like, choice for, like, a pay-per-view theme song. Everything was so, you know, heavy metal and stuff back then, and I don't know what the hell this was. It was just weird. And we used to just make fun of it. Me and my buddy Daniel and Jason, we used to just crack up at the absurdity of this song. But it's aged well, and it brings back huge memories. Look at those signs. Most likely, I have the entire Sunday Night Heat recorded as well. Ventura for president. It's a deadly game. Yeah, Ventura probably just won, became the governor of Minnesota probably a couple weeks before this. That's right. Well, I feel like an idiot because I've forgotten where Survivor Series 98 is. How do I not know this? St. Louis? Not St. Louis. Where was it? It is in St. Louis. Oh, I am right. Okay, I guess I did know that. Oh, yeah, the Kiel Center. Okay. This is the same site of Bad Blood 97, I believe. Oh, I got to knock out some super chats. I'll get to those in 1 second, guys. Thank you, Zane, Zach, and Spaz chiming in. I'll get to those in 1 second. Here's the tournament. We got Kane has got a bye. Kane and Undertaker have a bye just like Andre and Hogan did. Mankind's got a mystery opponent. Triple H will not wrestle in this because he's injured. He had to forfeit the Intercontinental title after beating The Rock at SummerSlam for it in that ladder match. Goldust and Shammy. Jarrett and Al Snow. Oh, we're opening up. I love the tiki torches and shit around the skull. I should have done that on the overlay here. I should have put a frame around it and some flaming torches. That'd have been awesome. Oh, Vince is in his little wheelchair. I love it. Are you okay, Mr. McMahon? The boss man. Oh my God. Like, this was so brilliantly done. Like, the way they send the boss man out later to basically lose on purpose to the Rock. I mean, it was all just really well done. Slaughter holding up Vince. Well, Vince is right about that.
It gives me a great deal of pleasure to kick off the Survivor Series and introduction.
Oh, this must be Dwayne Gill. Now, I remember watching this thinking, who is he bringing out?
An individual who tonight is hopeful of taking one small step.
And I believe Vince will... This is the last night of the wheelchair, too. Doesn't he pop up out of the wheelchair and all that? So Mankind's got a mystery opponent. And this is going to be Dwayne Gill. And I remember being like kind of disappointed because at the time, during the WWE and WCW war, a mystery opponent for Mankind made me think as a fan that shit, maybe there's a defection or maybe there's somebody that I recognize coming back, and that was really exciting. And for it to be Dwayne Gill made sense in story because Vince is trying to give the impression that he's going to give Mankind an easy ride. Mick's like... Vince is like, get in the ring, Mick. Oh, look at the little mini Goldust, Vader, and Kane out there. It was a great piece of business, too, when Vince fired Austin and then Shane hired him back. What doesn't make sense, though, is how Shane turns here, because Shane, that was the one hole in this plot hole in this whole story, is that Stone Cold was fired. Shane hired him back, only to turn on him here at Survivor Series, so then why did he hire him back? If they wanted Austin gone, he was gone. It makes no sense. All right, after Vince's speech here about Dwayne Gill, I'll knock out these comments here in these chat of supers. Vince putting those glasses on.
That was the one. In the ranks of sports entertainment, made his WWF debut in 1990. Over the course of the next 6 years, this charismatic superstar.
That's what was getting me. 1990, charismatic.
New standards here in the WWF. What do you think, JR? Unfortunately, seeking more opposition. On his own caliber, this
Natural athlete.
Jump ship to the WCW.
WCW. He did. He did work in WCW. Who is it? Vince King wants to know. I want to know.
Suffering a massive shoulder injury, this cornerstone of the World Wrestling Federation has been sidelined for the past 2 years.
Cornerstone.
With his career on the line, he fought back with resilience, dreaming of this triumphant return to the ring here tonight.
He's got 2 pages.
Without further ado, allow me to introduce to you, currently, the coach of the Pasadena Chargers, the man, the myth, Dwayne Gill.
Dwayne Gill. Look at Boss Man's like, I think I beat him in the 80s on Superstars. Awesome music. I don't know if it's edited or if this is just some weird shit, but I like it. Yeah. He's got an entrance video. Look at that. That fucking mullet. He looks like what's a tiger boy or whatever. Oh God, Jim Ross and his Rembrandt line. Let me knock out these supers while Dwayne Gill is getting splashed by Superfly though. Pasadena Chargers. Who hit me first? Zane? What's up, Zane? Oh, he got scared of the pyro. That's a good-looking logo next to your name, man, I gotta say. And a good-looking monkey wrench. Appreciate the $10 as always from you, my friend. If you notice, during one of Mankind's entrances, Lawler took a jab at WCW when talking about cramming everything into a 2-hour pay-per-view. Plus, Logan Paul is injured. Yes, I did see the Logan Paul injury. That's a shame. Even tweeted him, telling him, mad respect, man. He put on a hell of a performance yesterday. But yeah, we watched Halloween Havoc a couple of weeks ago, and remember how many like needless matches were on there? It was like Lodi and Saturn and Ming and Wrath, and I'm like, you could have just shaved off 4 of these fucking matches, done them on Nitro, and you would have had plenty of time. So this is an excellent display of how to time manage a pay-per-view, having all these matches that normally you would not have time for in a pay-per-view. So you have to be extremely rigid, and I think they were, and they pulled it off, and they got it done in 2 hours and 45 minutes. If you ever needed an overrun, this is the type of show you'd need it on. And that's it. But matches like this, the match that would happen with Rock and Boss Man later, you already have a bye in there, so you skip a few. And Mankind makes quick work of the Gillster. Thank you again for that, Zane. Zach, thank you for the $5. This is tied with 2002 of my favorite Survivor Series of all time. Neither one had a traditional Survivor Series match on it. That's right, they didn't. We did watch 2002 last year. Mankind's piano music, I like it. It's really sweet. I'd play it for when you're tucking your daughter into bed. That skull is so awesome. Who would win a fight between the Deadly Game skull and the SmackDown fist? Probably the fist. Oh, what happened to Sable? Oh, yeah. Oh, Jacqueline. Miss Texas. Beating up Scarlett. Sable's hair, is that unbelievable? Oh, Sable, don't cut a promo. Don't talk. Ah. Ooh. Okay. Sable's mad. Big mad. What's up, Spaz Phoenix? Thanks for the $10. What's up, Greg, Cat, and Chat? Cheap plug. Changing landscape of WWE pay-per-views. Going live tomorrow at 10 a.m. I think it's one of the better pods I've done in a while. And I actually mentioned Deadly Game. That's awesome. Go show Spaz some love. Subscribe to him. Check out his episode tomorrow. I got a big episode hitting the channel on Wednesday. 25th anniversary, Montreal Screwjob. I'm going to be premiering that in the morning or in the early afternoon because I'm not going to be here on Wednesday to watch Dynamite, unfortunately. So you guys are getting that instead. Tomorrow's Raw review is now up in the air. I thought I was going to do one, but I have a couple of other things to do tomorrow, including some work for this channel. So I'm going to kind of play Raw by ear, see how I feel. I mean, if Sasha and Naomi come back, I got to come up here and do a video, obviously. If they don't, and it's just a run-of-the-mill Raw, I'll probably skip it and put the finishing bells and whistles on the Screwjob episode for Sunday, or for Wednesday, excuse me. 25 years, man. This big inflatable Taker and Austin dolls. Oh, it was Freddie. That did not sound like him to me. Freddie is who I would have assumed, but it didn't quite sound like his voice. But thank you for that, Juliet. It was, in fact, the Fredster. Mr. McMahon. Here comes Headman. Oh, is this really Ray? I didn't know that. This is the debut of the new scratched logo WWF belt. Because the big blue one that they changed to after the Winged Eagle must have just, had the old block lettering? That's interesting. I didn't know that. Jeff Jarrett, Timmy White, and Al Snow. Rest in peace, Timmy. This whole Al Snow head thing was just so much better in ECW. It was just more over, more fun. Oh, yeah, he's got Sacco on it. Oh. If any of you have not taken the 0.42 seconds to click that thumbs up button, I would appreciate it, by the way. Half a second out of your life. I think I deserve that. Oh, nice. I'm trying to think of how many Al Snow and Jeff Jarrett matches I've seen. I can't recall any other one-on-one. They probably had a match on Raw or something, but... I mean, in a right setting, in a right, roster spot for Al Snow, this could be a heck of a feud, these two guys. You can find a reason to have an issue here. Maybe the head falls down and Deborah picks up the head and gives Al Snow head, and that pisses Jeff Jarrett off. And voila, you got yourself a program. Although I think Deborah and Jeff Jarrett are platonic, if I'm not mistaken. So he might not give a shit if she gives Al Snow head. Is Owen on this show? No. No. Where is Owen? Oh, wait, I think he is. I don't know. I think he's... Have they just started the Blue Blazer shit with him yet? He might have a Blazer appearance here. I can't remember. We Are Pro Wrestling will know. Oh, nice. We Are Pro Wrestling. Your Survivor Series is coming at the end of the month. I have never reviewed that show. I don't like to watch it. I don't want to compare it to Over the Edge because there's nothing worse than watching the show that Owen died on. But in terms of like just my motivation to want to turn it on, it just brings back terrible memories for me. I don't want to watch it. There's a few shows that are like that. And I'm like, I just don't want nothing to do with it. Anything from the Pandemic or Thunderdome era, I will never watch again. I won't watch Over the Edge. I won't watch Survivor Series 97.
That could be it right there. And Jarrett got his shoulder up the right one this time. Deborah McMichael can be so easily.
I don't love to watch Survivor Series 94 because Brett lost the title, but we might wind up watching that one. Jezebel. Oh, they tried to do the double head thing. Oh, they see, look. Okay, so Deborah's going to give Jeff Jarrett head. Okay. Oh, she might give Timmy Whitehead. Lucky day for Timmy. Well, actually, he just took the head from her. You can't force head, Timmy. That's not good. Oh, he's going for the... Oh, he doesn't see the head. He's got the guitar, though. You got the guitar. Okay, please don't tell me they're going to hit the head with the guitar. Is he going to use the guitar as a shield? Ooh. Ah. Look at all these weapons in the ring. Oh, there's... Oh, Al is going to advance? And Al Snow advances. I didn't even remember he advanced. That's awesome. Yeah, Jarrett was on Dynamite last Wednesday. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they started the Blue Blazer stuff in 98 and then revisited it in 99. I just can't remember when, but I swear it was like late 98 was the first time you saw Owen come back as the Blue Blazer gimmick. And then it went away for a while, and he started the tag team with Jeff Jarrett, and then Blazer was back or something, you know, leading into his death. That's the way I remember it, but... What's up, K-Dogs Kennel? Good to see you as well. Glad you're here. All right, we got a little commercial break or something here. Nope, we are back. All right, here comes Boss Man. Who's he fighting again? Now he comes out. What the hell happens? Is it supposed to be Rock Triple H in the first round? Is that what it is? And Triple H is going to get a mystery? Or Rock is going to get a mystery opponent? Or a replacement opponent? Oh, it's Austin, I think. That's right. He's facing Stone Cold. I forgot. That's right. And this was an interesting match to me, too, you know. Austin is this, you know, Texas hick redneck, you know, ass-kicking guy. That's kind of what Ray Traylor is. So I kind of thought it was a battle of the good old boys, you know. And I was very Team Austin. Austin was definitely my guy in 98. I usually don't gravitate right to the top stars, but it was hard not to love Austin. He was just too fucking good. When I was a kid, I almost took pride in, like, not being a Hogan and Warrior guy and being a Brett guy and stuff. But here, it was just hard to deny Austin's greatness. So going in, I was pro Austin and anti-Rock, but I kind of had a feeling that things weren't going to go well for, at least for, definitely not for Austin. Austin had a couple of good Ray Traylor stories. I can't remember if it was on Broken Skull Sessions or when, but he talked about them kind of tagging on each other a little bit in a match. And because Boss Man is really like well-liked, kind of a sweetheart, but also kind of like a little bit lovably dumb, you know, kind of thing is a common opinion of him I've heard, but in like in a lovable way. But Austin told the story of like him kind of potatoing him, and Austin gave him a receipt, and Ray kind of being like, okay, all right, I get it, boy. It's shit like that. I've loved every Ray Traylor story I've ever heard. Like, he's just fantastic. He's great. Miss the Boss Man. Austin, they could be chanting Boss Man. Maybe they're anti-Austin. I don't recall the finish here. I want to say maybe a DQ. I don't know if Austin just straight stuns him and pins him. I don't think he does. Chris Ludecki, Or Ludicay. I might be pronouncing your shit wrong too, man. I'm so sorry. But thank you for that $5. Hey, Greg, hope all is well. Survivor Series 95 match with Brett and Diesel is my first memory of a table spot. What's your first table memory? It wasn't much before then. I was seeing a little bit in ECW and some of the deathmatch stuff that I had. Or no, not even by that point. No, I'm sorry. I had seen it only in ECW table spots. And the earliest table bump I can remember as a fan would have been Harley Race in probably 1988 on like Saturday Night's Main Event, and he went through a table facing Hogan and got injured in that and had to take time off. They might have done some table stuff in WCW. I know they did a table bump with Flair and Funk in like 90 or no, it might have been the year after that in 89, but that wasn't good, just like the race one wasn't good. But a full-on table exploding bump was ECW first, probably like Public Enemy. Who actually, little known fact, Public Enemy worked a dark match at that Survivor Series, or a tryout match with WWE. And Brett would go through the table later on in the main event. So I'd probably say, I don't know if I have a distinct first memory of the first person through a table, but I'd probably say it was Harley Race in 1988, to be honest with you. I think that's what it is. I got to think if I can remember anything else, because shit was a little gnarly in the early 80s, 83. I feel like Santana and Valentine might have gone through in a table or something like that, but I think it's Race and WWE. The table kind of bent, didn't really break. Zane G, 5 more from you, man. As Vince watches as Bossman has I guess a chin lock. I'm not sure what that is on Austin at the moment. Zane G, appreciate 5 more. I remember that Dark Side of the Ring has shown a clip with Owen hanging midair along with Steve Blackman. Yikes. Yikes. Yeah, the Owen Dark Side was a rough one, too. Nice kicking. Oh, my God. They blurred the middle fingers. For real? Ugh. Crying out loud, WWE. Oh, that's it. Disqualification right there. Nightstick to the gut. And so that was his marching orders. Maybe if you couldn't beat him, just wear him the fuck out. Vince is like, ooh, that's a big stick. Yeah, I bet you do like that big stick, Vince. Oh, Vince, he's such a dick. And that's it. Austin wins. DQ. Yeah, John, Harley did so. He needed surgery for something. I remember them talking about it. It was something in his abdominals or his stomach or something. And that was how we got King Haku, was because of that table bump. And he had to take time off, and they crowned King Haku. And then when he came back, he wrestled Haku for the crown. It's a badass match right there. Haku and Race. Probably be interesting in a shoot. I think Haku would take him. You don't fuck with Haku. This a gun. You don't go fucking around with no gun. Martin Lawrence. Yeah, poor Austin. You piece of shit. Just kidding. I love you, boss man.
Ladies and gentlemen, maybe Michael Cole can get an answer from Mr. McMahon. Michael, take it away.
Mr. McMahon, aren't you at all concerned, excuse me, Mr. McMahon, aren't you at all concerned that Stone Cold has advanced in the Deadly Game tournament?
Oh, Ludek, not Ludecki. Thank you for that, Chris. Ludek. I can do that. Ludecki. Teachers probably did that shit to you at school all the time, right, Ludecki?
Tonight is very, very young. There's more than I keep. Austin's in for it.
Austin's in for it. There's some very fuzzy graphics, man. You got to sharpen that shit up. It's not 1080p. Look at that. Is y'all's all blurry too? Your bracket? We need a sharp bracket. I should have put one up on the screen here for you guys. Poor Austin. Don't walk into the mouth of the skull. What's the next match? I mean, they don't waste any time. We don't have a lot of time to, like, dick around with video packages in between stuff. They got to knock out these matches. Here comes X-Pac. The reason I know he's coming out is because people are making some noise. 3-0 Chiefs, I see that. I wonder what my sister's doing. I wonder if they're at the house. She should have invited me over. I wouldn't have gone because I had to do a watch-along. Her and my brother-in-law, big Chiefs fans. He's from Kansas City. And that naturally makes her one, too. Oh, X-Pac and Regal, that's right. Oh, do we get to hear Man's Man? I think we get to hear Man's Man. Oh, I'm so happy. Yeah, a government mule. I mean, are these things around, like walking around, government mules? I've never seen one. If I see a mule, how do you know it's a government one or not? What if it's just a regular mule? All right. I always liked X-Pac's football jersey. Timmy White refereeing again. Busy man tonight. Yes, we're gonna. I love this song. He's a man. Such a man. This should be like the theme song of like all those conservatives who are like obsessed with being like an alpha male. That are so subconscious about the teeny tininess of their fucking dicks that they have to be outwardly manly and get mad at anything that's not manly. Insecure much? I think this should be their theme song. And it's fantastic. He's out there chopping wood. What a man. Look at the manness on him. The man sweat coming off of him, carrying big bags of stuff. Because he's a big, strong man. Big, strong man. He lifts up stuff just because he can. I think X-Pac wins this. I don't remember. Or maybe this is a DQ. I forget the finish here. I don't know. I don't know what a slobber knocker is. I've never knocked slobber. I've swapped slobber, but I've never knocked my slobber. Oh. Oh, look out, Timmy. No, look at Regal bumping around. And props to Regal, too. I mean, this is such a weird gimmick they stuck him with here. But, you know, he was not in a good place. And I know he was still battling his drug addiction issues and all that stuff right now. And they let him go. Or I think they kept him around. Or he was kind of off TV. They stopped the man's man shit. And then he, I think, went to rehab and cleaned himself up. And then he would be back. Next time, I don't know how long he stuck around here, but I swear he was gone for over a year because the next time I remember him coming back, Undertaker had already turned into the American Badass. So we're talking at least a year and a half from this point. So, again, We Are Pro Wrestling might have a better time frame on that than me. Making orange juice by squeezing oranges, that is the best one. And that really is the best kind of orange juice, just right out of the fucking fruit. I don't care how you do it with your hands and machine. Just give it to me. Might be one of my favorite things in the world is just orange juice squeezed right out of the orange. So maybe I can get someone like Regal to squeeze me a bunch. Add a little vodka and have a real manly screwdriver. Like a power drill. Such a man. This thing goes time limit draw for realsies. Did Regal and Six ever wrestle in WCW? I'm curious. They were definitely in the locker room there together. Regal was in WCW. Well, shit. Just a few months before this, he got fired for the Goldberg stuff. So that was earlier on in the year. That was in 98 at some point. Oh, I've never seen a slingshot done like that before. That's kind of funny. Just went right into the air. Did I have a super chat coming in? I think I did. Zane G, my friend, thank you for 10 more there. I feel like I'm paying for your cases of beer with my super chats. Yeah, you kind of are. You don't have to, but I appreciate you doing that. But you would have to WrestleMania 39 on a single day because word is NXT is holding an event that same day. But would you have WrestleMania 39 on a single day? I don't know. Have they officially announced that it's going to be 2 nights? I thought that it was 2 nights going forward now. But they crammed it all in last year too, though, didn't they? Didn't they have NXT running earlier on that day before? I think they did. So they might just have double duty that day. I'm probably one of the few people that isn't too crazy about either one. Like, I don't have a strong opinion either way. I don't mind the one night, even if it's long, even if it's 6 hours long. I'm fine with that. But I also understand the argument for the 2 night. And now that we've seen the 2 night a couple of times, I don't hate that either. So since they've moved to the 2 nights, I'm fine with doing that for a while. If they decide that it's no longer, feasible or whatever, then they can always change it back. But I think 2 nights is here to stay, at least for a little while. So I'm not changing it right now, no, regardless of what NXT is doing. I don't even watch those fucking guys. I barely even saw Bodie Hayward, that guy that got let go for being late and shit. I barely even knew who he was. Okay, yeah. 2 nights. Yeah, that's what I thought. John Cena stealing the jorts from Regal. Ooh, nice. X-Pac trying some shit there. I was kind of excited, HBK's lazy eye, for Vader in WWE. I read that as it was registering what it said. That's hilarious. Kind of excited for him because, number one, WWE was, needing some guys, and that was a big name to get from WCW. He was a big part of their deal for a while there, but like so many, like Austin as well, and Dustin Rhodes and a lot of other guys that were WCW mainstays, once Hogan got there, they were gone. Austin, Dustin, Vader, Mark Marrow, a lot of guys were switching, and Vader being there, I was like, okay, good, a big monstrous heel, and I expected him to be WWE champion. I did. But unfortunately, he didn't move in time, and everything was derailed because of one spot in a match. But I was mildly excited. I wasn't a huge fan of his in WCW, but I liked him. He was just a very impressive big man. I think I was more like a Bam Bam Bigelow guy, but I definitely liked Vader, and he was the epitome of what a professional wrestler would look like in a non-wrestling fan's mind, like who doesn't really watch wrestling. If they think of what a pro wrestler looks like, they're probably thinking of somebody who looks like Vader, and that's what I liked about him. And he was agile and tough and rough and all that stuff. So I thought he would have a better run. I did. Mike Witt, I might have had a pair of jorts or two. Yeah. I don't recall having a lot, but I think I remember wearing a pair of jean shorts, almost like a lighter colored, almost like Regal, with like a collared short sleeve, like Tommy Hilfiger shirt, untucked, and like boat shoes or flip flops. There was a time when jorts were in, and I know I had at least 2 pair, and they were both kind of like almost lighter blue looking, but none full on jorty like Cena. I was never rocking the Cena jorts hanging halfway down my ass or nothing like that. I actually know how to dress myself. Yeah, bringing a live reaction for pay-per-views back might be fun. I should try to pull one of those out one time. But I'd also like to do a review on it too. And for a while there, I was doing just the pay-per-view reactions. And they were doing well. Wow. I think one year for SummerSlam, we had like 3,000 or 4,000 people in the chat at one point. Those were the good old days. All right, X-Pac up top. Oh, no. Crotched him. Poor X-Pac. Easy, we got it. Chill out, King. Wow, nice suplex on the floor. Oh, that's good. Is it time limit or count out? All right, so there's another match they're able to skip now by doing a bye here. They are both eliminated. They are both gone. Only winners advance. That's how tournaments work, or most of them. Look at Vince. Oh, what's going on? Oh, overtime they want. Oh, Vince, okay. That's right. Austin was supposed to face the winner here. I would have liked to see Austin and Regal. That would have been awesome. Austin and X-Pac would be fun, too. Yeah, Slaughter, don't run. 5-minute overtime. I don't even remember this. Do they really get back in there and wrestle more? This feels like it's wasting a lot of time. So what do? Determine that X-Pac can't go any further and just say, no, it ain't happening? That's so funny. I remember none of this. No, Jimmy, he's not only a construction worker. He chops wood, too. Because he's a man's man. You have to chop the wood before you build shit out of it, right? So get your facts straight about the man's men. Or the men's man. Before you comment in here. Divine Ricks, what's up, my friend? It is so good to see you. Thank you very much for that $5. Hey, Greg, I heard War Games this year would be 5-on-5, so I'm thinking the entire bloodline versus Brutes, Owens, and McIntyre. Ding, ding, ding. Yeah, that would be good. See, it depends on, to me, it depends on if WWE plans on having the bloodline win or not, you know, to determine who they're going to face. So if the plan is for the bloodline to win, then that's a perfect team. If the plan is for the bloodline to lose, and Sammy's screwing something up and that leading to his downfall, then maybe the team needs to be a little bit more formidable than that, like maybe without the Brutes. But I like the idea of Sheamus being in it. I like the idea of Sheamus facing Roman at the Royal Rumble. That's a great idea. So that's a pretty good team. Putting Owens and Sami Zayn on the opposite end, too, would really further that story. But I think a lot of what's going on right now with that stuff is pretty fluid in WWE because of how hot the Sami Zayn stuff is. So I think they're kind of running with it. And maybe their original intent isn't really going to be fulfilled because Sammy's changing things. So they might just want to see how it goes. And if the plan was to have Sammy be out of the bloodline by the time they get to Survivor Series or at Survivor Series, they might have to change those plans up depending on how long they want to continue this. But that's a pretty good 5 guys, especially if the bloodline's going to beat them or whatever or lose to them. That gives Drew an opportunity or Owens an opportunity to get one over, or Sheamus to get one over on Roman, which could lead to your Royal Rumble match. But yeah, I don't know. I like it on paper. I can't think of a better group of guys right now in terms of people who are not in any crazy storylines at the moment. And they've already teased the stuff with Owens and Sammy, so that works for me, Divine. Here comes Goldust. Austin gets a bye. Backfired, McMahon. Because I don't understand, what I don't understand is that Vince, what's the story here? Vince being upset that Stone Cold is getting a bye. Is that Vince pretending to be upset? Because this whole thing looks like it was a well-orchestrated plan. As we see Austin in that match later, we see what happens and unfolds there with Shane and I'm pretty sure that's the match that has the worst chair shot of all time. It rivals Hogan and Conan from Nitro, that clip that's been floating around social media. You thought that was bad? Wait till you see Briscoe or Patterson, I forget which one. I think it's Briscoe, hit Stone Cold later on. It's horrible. Shamrock and Goldust. Fucking shape Shamrock is in is ridiculous. Now, he is, recently won the IC champ title, right? Because of Triple H's injury. Finally winning that title after being unsuccessful beating The Rock for it at a couple of big pay-per-views earlier on in the year. I remember being happy when he won the title. I think it was just a tournament that he won, right, for the IC? Oof. Beaver Rules sign in the crowd. I mean, I might carry a sign that says it burns when I pee, because I did. But I'm not sure if I'd carry a Beaver Rules sign back then when I was 21 years old. I don't think so. Beaver Rules. Fucking St. Louis. What a place. I have never in my life been landlocked, like in the middle of the country, like lived or anything. I lived in Michigan, which is a fucking peninsula, and then I lived on the beach in North Carolina, and I lived on the beach here. I was like, but I don't know what it's like to have land in every direction. So much land and beauty and mountains and landscape, and my God. I drove through Arizona a few months back, or a year or two back. It's just blown away. How fucking far and vast everything is. Just crazy. When you go on road trips on the East Coast, there's some beauty up there too. But you don't get as much at once kind of thing, because there's a lot of hills and trees and shit in your way, and where the West is so vast and barren, a lot of it. It's just so interesting to drive through it. It's nuts. Driving to Vegas is crazy. It is 9-0 Chiefs. Is that what it is? I always wondered how difficult it was for Dustin's body to breathe in that getup that he's got. Nice camel toe, Dustin. But like you notice after a while, he would start unzipping that because he was probably just crazy hot. The thing's a sweatsuit. I mean, it looks like it's... I don't know what kind of shit that's made out of, but it looks like some kind of stuff that doesn't breathe well. It's certainly not cotton. I don't think it's spandex. I think it's something that probably just traps all your body heat in there and just has got to be gross. Yeah, Mike Witt, I'm into WrestleMania 4. Fond memories of WrestleMania 4. I don't think we've done that one yet. I know we've done 6, 7, and 8, I'm pretty sure. I think we might not have done 8. I kind of forgot which ones we've done. We've done WrestleMania 10. Pretty sure we've done 21. Yeah, we'll have to get a big WrestleMania lineup this year. And Royal Rumble as well. Ooh. Hard punches. Kevin, good to see you. It's okay. We forgive you tonight. He's got a bad hurt ankle, says Lawler. Or WrestleMania 3 to see young, good mic work. You won't see me. You won't see me on that one. It's not like Survivor Series or a couple other shows I've been to where you can see me. Ooh. Oh, yeah, we have not done Mania 8. Okay, and Mania 9 might be fun. Even though it's a terrible show, I still think we could have fun watching it. Tennessee on the move. Oh, that sign says Sable can pin me any day. I thought it said earlier it said pay me. I'm like, what does that mean? Sable can pay you? No, I don't know if we're going to get around to WrestleMania 11. Ow. That will not be very bright. Nope. God, Shamrock, he would do those Hurricane Ranas, and I would always get so nervous. Because he pulled them off, but they were sloppy looking sometimes. And there's the ankle lock. Think of how close, and that's it. Goldust's tapping. Shamrock moves on. I mean, we missed that Shamrock and Angle window by just a short amount of time. Same with Owen. Like, just a matter of months. If they would have overlapped an extra year there and let Angle get established before he took on Shamrock or Owen, that would have been just so great. Oh, you were at WrestleMania 15 too? Tatanani, did you get a WWF The Music Volume 3 flyer on your car when you walked to the parking lot? I did. It was sticking on my windshield. What's the status of Stone Cold? God, Michael Cole, look at him. Is there ever have you ever seen a face that you've ever wanted to smack with your hand more than that one? Okay. Oh, here we go. So, yeah, we're kind of getting to that. I like this version of The Rock's theme. Look at The Rock with the chef with the Rock hat. I mean, yeah, he's kind of getting cheered here. He was doing he beat up Vince on Raw. And I mean, people were looking at him as the favorite. And I think he was the favorite going into this, but kind of as a babyface. People were thinking he was going to win it as a babyface. So when he won and then swerved everybody as a heel, it was so great. Whose pyro is that right there? Now, this is supposed to be Triple H, right? Yeah, Champion, it used to be, do you smell what The Rock is cooking to start his theme? And then he would yell it like, if you smell. It really evolved. His theme went through several renditions, spiced up more each time. Okay, so what the fuck? I didn't know they went all the way through with the theme music here. Well, it's got to be like the Stooges or something. Do the Stooges come out? I think that's what happens. And they're doing the thing. Yes, it is the Stooges. Okay. So Triple H is not there. He's not ready yet. That was a shame. He got injured when he won that Intercontinental title and wasn't even really able to defend it. And that would have been an interesting match to have at this point because, you know, they had feuded all year, but now Rock is a babyface. Now there might be a little bit more mutual respect between the two instead of all the, you know, the gnarly stuff that was going on between them in the DX vs. Nation feud. It's a shame that Triple H wasn't healthy for this, so he could have just factored into this tournament. Mr. McMahon. Mr. McMahon. Oh, yeah? And he was informed to be here. But Triple H chose Mr. McMahon. Briscoe's so great. Gonna find him. That's what you have to do. Oh, now Pat gets to talk. The Rock, Earl, Patrick, and Gerald. What a foursome. No forfeit. The Stooges were great at this time. They did the DX thing. They came out to Hogan's music, and oh my God. Patterson was awesome. At the last minute. At the last minute. The big boss man. He's already lost in this tournament. This is bullshit. Yeah, he's changing the rules as we go along. Now, this is great. This is what I liked because this is something that I fell for. I thought this we're about to see here was all legit. But it was all a plan. That's awesome. And I remember being like, yeah, fuck you, Vince. We marked out for that. It was awesome. The only thing that doesn't make all the sense is that even though, yes, Boss Man is an employee of Vince, are you really going to lose on purpose in a tournament that could potentially win you the WWE title? I didn't even have a chance to smell what he was cooking. Okay, King, you're only a obnoxious douche 99.8% of the time. 2%, 0.02% of the time, you actually have a funny one-liner in there sometimes. Nice small package. Lost to Austin and Rock in less than an hour. Way to go. Way to go, boss man. So now it looks like he's in trouble. Now it looks like he's fucked up royally. I was loving it. All right, here we go. Rock and Shamrock now. That's right. Mankind and Al Snow. That'll be interesting. And Stone Cold gets a bye. And we got Undertaker and Kane. The Sensational Seven. The Great Eight. Yeah, Dean, good point. You know, Vince could say to Boss Man, I'll give you $1 million, and then that's going to be a decision you have to make. Chance at the title or $1 million bucks? I might take the $1 million too. Can't blame the Boss Man. Everybody has a price. That would be a great catchphrase if they came up with like a wrestling character that like had a lot of money and he was like, everybody has a price. Like that would be awesome. Call him like Billionaire Billy or something. I don't know. Millionaire Mike. Tons of cash Ted. Shit like that. This might be my favorite Undertaker theme. I mean, I'm OG. I like the original. Or the original-ish. Like theme number 3. But this one was so good. Taker is not much of a... Or Kane is not much of a factor on this entire show, to be honest. I think Taker wins this, right? And now Paul Bearer is back with Undertaker 1 year earlier, bringing the brother back from the dead. The Taker and Kane story took way too many side turns. I think the story they had, the foundation of it, was all you needed. Not being able to decide who you wanted Paul Bearer to be with, not being able to figure out who you wanted their parents to be, killing their parents, digging them up, desecrating their graves, and performing violence on dead bodies. They were doing weird shit. Taker is about a month away from getting crazy, or he might be starting already. He is starting to venture into the Ministry of Darkness version of himself. He would have a match at the next pay-per-view, I believe, with Austin, which was maybe a Buried Alive, or I remember a shovel being involved. Maybe it wasn't a Buried Alive. I don't know what they were doing, but they fought. They fought hard. And they were doing the shit on TV where Taker was attempting to embalm Austin and speaking in tongues, and then into 99, he was starting to act very strangely. And I loved the Ministry of Darkness. I thought it was fantastic. One of my favorite things they ever did was having Undertaker burn the teddy bear and give it to Vince. Like, that was awesome. Here comes the Canester. Paul White was gone from WCW at this point. I think he was, maybe not right then, but it was close. He worked Halloween Havoc, so yeah, he was probably about out the door. And he was losing a lot. But I remember the word was out that he was going to be gone or probably heading to WWE. And so when you start seeing him lose on TV, this was a guy that was built as unbeatable, and he's getting pinned on a relatively routine basis. I remember as a fan being happy. I'm like, uh-oh, he's coming. He wouldn't be losing like this if he wasn't coming to WWF. So I was very excited for him to be jumping ship because I felt the tide turning. After Big Show, it was Jericho. After Jericho, it was the Radicals. After the Radicals, it was everybody else. January 99. Yeah, I want to say there was like a Thunder match in 99 where Goldberg beat him or something. Or that might have happened earlier. Goldberg, I think, was still champion when he beat the Giant. But I guess he did stick around till 99. Yeah, because, I mean, if his contract is up, then he's not going to have a no-compete. You know, and that's probably what happened. All right, Kane and Undertaker. Let's see what happens here. I think Undertaker just wins this because I want to say he faces The Rock. I mean, this is a match you don't even think of happening very often. I mean, let's think here. 1998. They wrestled at WrestleMania 14. They wrestled at Unforgiven the next month. I was there for that Inferno match. Over the Edge, they did not work. King of the Ring, 98, what happened there? They didn't work together, but they were involved in the main event. Fully Loaded, they did not work against each other, but then they did at, I think, the September and October pay-per-views, I think, right? And then they're working here. So, like, every show that year, they had something to do with each other, even prior to Mania. The Royal Rumble, and Kane burned him in the casket. What a year for them. I mean, they were reluctant enemies, turned mortal enemies, turned friends, turned enemies again. Like, I don't think WWE quite knew what to do with some of these deep storylines because the detours they were taking, some of them unnecessary, I think kind of hurt the story between these two guys a little bit. Because it makes a lot of it silly. And it's silly enough when you have guys with magical powers and shooting lightning bolts and stuff. At least try to keep the story straight. I mean, the stories get pretty whack on soap operas, and that's what this is. It is one, but still, you don't have to be exactly like the soap operas and get super ridiculous. To where, what? My wife of 25 years is my sister? Holy shit. Like, you don't have to get crazy, but... I don't know what would have been going on. That is Mike Witt when you think of what would have happened had Shawn not gotten hurt at the Royal Rumble, or if Brett wouldn't have been screwed a couple of months earlier in Montreal, or both. What if neither happened? What if Brett never got screwed and Shawn never got hurt? What the hell kind of pay-per-view would we be looking at right now? And who would have won the title at WrestleMania 14? Would it have still been Austin? Or would they have gone back to Brett and put Austin on the back burner again? Or what would they have done? I would have done a triple threat with Austin, Brett, and Shawn and had Austin beat them both. That's what I would have done. But who knows? Even the Vince character wouldn't have been a thing. Austin wouldn't have had that to play off of. He would have still had Brett and everything, which would have been great. But I don't think Mr. McMahon would be a thing. But if you have the screw job, and that happens, and then Shawn doesn't get hurt, then you've got Shawn in the mix of all of this. And then you're talking Shawn and Rock, you know, potentially all sorts of great stuff. Maybe Shawn and Kane. Thank goodness that did not transpire. Tyson would have joined the Hart Foundation, possibly. Big dub. I was so young, I was into this stuff. I was 21 years old when this show aired. And I wish I was still 21 years old. That would be sweet. Yeah, The Rock winning here was a big deal, man. To me, it was just nuts that a guy 2 years in was winning a title this prestigious anyway. And what a pretty big risk that is by WWE, too. I mean, they're still going head-to-head with WCW, and they're putting on the title on a guy that does not have a track record. There was a time in WWE where they had one former WWE champion on the roster around the time that WCW took everybody. And it would have been around like 95, 96, maybe when like Brett was gone. I think Taker was the only former champion. Because Shawn hadn't won the belt yet. Or he was champion, so he wasn't a former champion yet. Hogan was gone. Savage was gone. Diesel was gone. Brett was gone. Brett was on hiatus. And then in 97, he was gone completely. So they had to start making other champions, and they finally did. Austin, Mankind, Kane, Triple H. Lots of guys finally got on the map, and then they started having... They just basically just recreated an entire roster. So Rock hadn't been doing anything yet. Rock had no track record yet. And that's why I like WWE was just doing their thing. They were just doing their thing, going with who was over. Weren't worrying about how they match up or if they don't have the name value or the star power of a Hogan or Savage in WCW. They were just doing their own thing, putting on their product. It's one thing they were doing really well. Or one of the many things, I should say, they were doing really well at the time. I was all in on this shit, man. I was glued to my seat every Monday. Pay-per-views are an absolute must. This terrible fire that occurred. Yeah, that terrible fire. Ooh. They would have had Yoko at the time, kind of, but not really. In 96, Yoko was around, but he wasn't around. But I do think in 1997, if you think of the roster in 1997, I mean, it was really just Brett, Shawn, and Taker, I think. But there was a time. Oh. Wow. And Taker wins with a foot hold from Paul Bearer. I'm trying to think then. Maybe early 98. Think of the roster 10 months prior to this. Who in the company were former WWE champions in January of 1998? Shawn was champ. Taker used to be champ. And I can't think of anybody else. Austin wasn't champ yet. Brett was gone. They just didn't have a lot of former world champions. But then in 98, they really got cooking. Then Austin won the title. Kane won the title. The following year, Triple H won the title. Mankind won the title. Angle would win the title. Then they started developing in a brand new lineage. All right, Mankind, here we go. This is Mankind and Austin, I believe. I love that he's in a suit. Poor Mankind. Being totally used. He's wearing a bow tie and everything. All right, let me cruise right over here to the refrigerator, grab another cold one so I can enjoy Austin's entrance in the way he would appreciate. I'm not sure if this is cold enough, but I really don't want to drink a Modelo, an IPA, but I only put it in the fridge about 20 minutes before we started streaming, so it's been in there for an hour and a half. I guess that's good enough. Good enough. Here comes Austin. Yeah, exactly, Juliet. Vince even won the title for a week. Oh, God, is there a new Vince photo has surfaced? Oh, gross. Do I have to? God, Vince looks old, but he looks good. Is that his woman? Is that his mamacita? Oh, yeah, we got a replay of... Oh, no, this is not Stone Cold. This is Mankind and Al... What the fuck am I talking about? Sorry, I'm an idiot. I forgot about Al Snow. I'm like, it's time for Stone Cold. And it's not time for Stone Cold. It's time for Al Snow. Sorry, that happens. That Mankind match with Austin is after this because he's got to beat Al Snow first. Yeah, what if Hall and Nash never left? You got to think about that too. So many what ifs. And I don't know if wrestling would have been better off with or without some of those scenarios. Because it would have been awesome if the screw job never happened, but the domino effect that would have set in motion, you know, we would have never got Austin McMahon. We never would have gotten that crazy just time period in 98 that we got because Brett would still be there. And he was already being pretty vocal about not liking the direction they were going in, so you would have a very disgruntled guy on top. It might result in, you know, of him being pushed way down the card and wanting and asking for a release and going to WCW anyway. If he wasn't cooperating with Vince and he was being vocal, and Vince is like, all right, well, I'm going to go with Austin and Rock and guys like that, and Brett became a mid-carder, he might say, I'm going to bounce. I'm going to go to WCW. So who knows? That might have happened. Or Vince would have been a little bit more, you know, accommodating to Brett and still put him at the top without going too far with some of what he was doing. So I don't know. It might have, the product might not have been as good, as much as I hate to admit it. Oh. Oh. Mr. McMahon, you're a genius. Oh, so Mick hasn't seen it yet. So Gerald is crediting Vince with tying the sock around the head. Yeah. What if Chyna stayed in WWE? I don't know. Match with Stephanie. I'm not sure. I don't know where they would go with it. Ooh. Oh, now he sees it. Oh, it rolled right in front of his face. Oh, no. Mankind's like, fucking bullshit. I've got it now. Oh. He beats up the head. He stomps the head. And he's beating it up. Oh. This is a tournament for the WWE title, and you've got guys punching a mannequin head in an attempt to injure it. I forgot. I usually cut my mic down for watch-alongs. I forgot to do that, so hopefully I've not been picking up too much. The tube sock. What if Greg Gagne ever went to WWF? He'd lose to the one-man gang and be put on commentary for taped primetime matches with Alfred Hayes. He'd be pretty good at it. There's no, yeah, you got that right. That's it. Al Snow is out because Mankind is very angry. Mankind. And he did. Yeah, clean-shaven Foley is weird. When he did Over the Edge, when he came out with his teeth in and clean-shaven, just with a goatee, he looked good. He's handsome. I had a good friend back in these days, and she was a beautiful woman. And she used to say, because she would watch wrestling with me all the time, she would say that Mick Foley is a great-looking man. He's a very, very good-looking man. And Colette is beautiful. Like, Mick can get women. He's good-looking. He's handsome. He's very intelligent. And he's charming, and he's non-threatening, and he's not an asshole. Like, women like that. He can get the babes. Like, that's the irony of the whole dude love thing is, you know, he wanted to be that sex symbol, and he was the opposite. But really, at the end of the day, he can pull in just as good quality females as any Shawn Michaels sex symbol type out there because of who he is as a person. And to me, that's what makes Mick great. And plus, he's handsome as shit, apparently. Women? And who's here? Is this a sausage fest in here? Are there any women in here? Probably not. If there is, Mick Foley's handsome, right? Young Mick Foley? He's no Don Juan today, I know that. But I'm saying, like, back in the day, handsome guy. Oh, yeah, Divine. This was a full year. As a matter of fact, Austin made his in-ring return from that pile driver at the previous year's Survivor Series. The one with the bad. The evil Survivor Series of 1997. I'm not sure if I knew that. Shamrock's nickname was The Rock in UFC. That's interesting. Don Morocco was also The Rock in WWE during his short babyface run, late 80s. He was in stupid shape. Morocco was one of my favorites. I think I liked him better as a heel because he made me laugh my ass off as a kid. But when he had that babyface run with Superstar Graham, and just the shape he was in was so ridiculous. Don't blink here. What if Foley would have been the corporate champion? I don't know. But this whole thing, this whole shit with Mick started. That was what was going on in '98 when they wanted Dude Love to be the corporate champion. And now Mick Foley has gone crazy. And Mankind is, and Vince is using him again. Yeah, Foley's pod is great. I've listened to maybe 2 episodes, and I've liked what I hear. I know Foley's going through some rough times right now with his health and all that, but he's paying a price for the entertainment he gave us. And he's earned the right to have any opinion he wants on social media. Ooh. It is interesting to see these two guys revisit. I mean, earlier on in the year, this was a very one-sided heel and babyface program with The Rock getting this shit kicked out of him every time he faced Shamrock, but somehow escaping with that Intercontinental title. Now, finally, Shamrock's got the title. He's not full heel yet, I don't think, Shamrock, but he's on his way to getting there. Because I know Shamrock would be part of that corporation. He would even work. I know Shamrock had a pay-per-view match with Undertaker. That would have been probably 99. Oh, yeah, that chair shot that we all remember. I watched that as it happened, and I remember being like, I've never seen somebody take a chair shot like that. Just take it straight to the face like a baseball bat. And for a guy like The Rock, who is still pretty, I wouldn't say green, but he doesn't have, he's still young and early in his career, to trust him to not kill you in that situation, it takes a lot of courage. Mick Foley had that same courage at the Royal Rumble. And he took 40 chair shots to his melon. What's that, Sprite? Oh, my God. Oh, yeah, Shamrock and Benoit would be fun. If they could have gotten Benoit over there in time. Oh, man. Something stuck in my beer. Holy shit. What the hell? Oh, yeah. For some reason on this one computer, my YouTube, whenever I watch a video on YouTube, it automatically defaults to like 360p. And I'm like, what is this? I don't know, 1080p. There we go. You can see me clearly. I have the 1080p setting on yours there. I'm like, why is it so shitty? I don't know why it does that. I go in there and reset it, and then it doesn't stick. It reverts back every time. There we go. For some reason, I don't know why, I know a lot of people on phones and stuff, you like dark mode. For some reason, I don't. I'm not really a dark mode person. So when I start the stream here, I have the entire chat on the stream, but it's kind of in dark mode, and it's just maybe harder for me to see. So I actually read the chat. I just pull up the video on a window and just read the chat straight from there. And so sometimes I scroll up and I'm like, why? To make sure I can still be visible and stuff. Behind the scenes with good mic work. 14-9 Titans. Holy shit, they came storming back. I didn't realize they were 5-2 either. I would have no problem with Ken Shamrock going into the Hall of Fame. Ruben, you're right. Whatever year they want to, 2023, whenever. But he's probably a guy that should go in. He wasn't here long, but he made his mark. No updates on the Steve Austin front. Oh, Boss Man's coming. That's what they're yelling about. That photo of Vince out to dinner. On the table, I can see, is that Pano? I know that brand of water. They're probably at an Italian restaurant because there's olive oil on the table. There's a basket of bread. That screams Italian to me. And I think that's Italian bottled water. It also looks like by Vince's water glass that there is balsamic vinegar. I wonder what restaurant they're at. I'm going to screen cap this and see if I can stick it in here. Stick it in your bum-bums so we can look at it together. There he is. That's what Vince is up to, apparently. Oh, there's a big Rana to the Rock. We'll bring that back up later if you guys want to see it. We should watch the end of Rock and Shamrock here. But yeah, they're definitely in an Italian restaurant. Yeah, he kind of dyed his hair. Good for Vince. Come on, Rock. You got out of this shit last time. Now, again, the finish of this I like is so brilliant because you really have to execute it perfectly. And I think they just got a little extra touch of luck with the way Rock snags this this Billy Club out of the air. So Shamrock's, he got out of the ankle lock. Now Shamrock's working the legs. There he goes. Wow. All right, double clothesline. Oh, does that look like Dixie Carter, you said? Oh, yeah. Vince and Dixie. I guess it kind of does. That's good. Good for him. I mean, at least he's out doing stuff. At least he doesn't have to pay her to be quiet. At least he's going on a real date. I love that him and Linda just have this type of relationship, and this is perfectly fine. But, yeah, I mean, that's what I would be doing if I was Vince. If I got $1 billion and I got nothing else to do, I'm going out to dinner. I'm balling. I'm going to ball. And I'm going to invite people to come ball with me. So, Vince is living his life. I'm happy for him. Is he a gross pervert? Yep. But he still has to live his life. So, go out there and do that. Nice. Rock's been doing that float over DDT since the day he started. You can even see him doing it in the training videos with Dr. Tom in the warehouse. He's doing it there too. It's like one of the first things he learned. All right, here come the People's Elbow. And they're loving. Look at the fans. He's not even full-blown. I mean, he's just fresh. Fresh baby face. He was a heel like a month before this. 2 months maybe. Big elbow. Crowd goes nuts. And he kicked out of the People's Elbow. Shamrock's a boss. Uh-oh, rock bottom. Here we go. Belly to belly, yep. Mm-hmm. Anybody's ball game. Divine Owen was on Sunday Night Heat as the Blue Blazer, I think. Oh, and there it is. Boom. So he tried to toss it to Shamrock. And Bossman's job here is to make it look like he screwed up and Rock caught it by accident. But that could have easily been botched. He could have tossed. It could have just not looked as good or whatever. But it really did look like they're going to show a replay here, hopefully. Like he threw it to Shamrock like he was trying to. And Rock just beautifully intercepted it. It's the Attitude Era equivalent of Roman Reigns catching that microphone at SummerSlam. The Rock catching that nightstick at Survivor Series 1998. Look at that. Yeah, look at this. Bossman's up, tosses it to Shamrock. Boom, snag, bam. Right in the face. Down goes Shammy. I mean, look at this angle. This is the best angle on it right there. Boom. And he even delivered, and he even hit him perfectly with it. That was like about as well executed as you could have ever asked for when you're in the back planning that finish. Try to make it look like you're throwing it to me. You catch it, hit me. I mean, that could have easily looked sloppy, clunky. Something could have gone wrong. But every person did what they were supposed to do. Bossman threw it perfectly. Shamrock went to catch it perfectly. Rock intercepted it perfectly. Hit Shamrock perfectly, who sold it perfectly. And the ref counted the 3 perfectly. That was fucking perfect. Absolutely perfect.
So the Phenom, The Undertaker, gets the People's Champion, The Rock, in the semifinals, Paul Bearer.
The only rock that my Undertaker likes is a nice piece of cold, hard granite that he carves the names of his victims on. Tonight, my Phenom will walk out of this building as the WWF champion.
Oh, Paul Bearer doing that face. Makes him want to barf. Oh, God, here comes Sable. Zane G, thank you so much, my friend, for 10 more. Last chat, and then I'll leave you alone, finally. Jeez. God, stop bugging me, Zane. Jesus, man. I'm kidding. You can bug me all night long, dude. I don't care. I love you. Rumors of Austin being happy with his match with Owens at 38, that he'll be back for future matches. Your thoughts? I have no doubt that Austin was happy with his match with Owens at 38. I think everybody was. So good for him there. If he comes back for future matches, I personally don't need it. I was nervous enough for him coming back as it was. So the fact that he was able to get in and out of that match and had a good one, don't tempt fate, is my opinion there. But I wouldn't mind seeing Austin come back and being involved in something, especially if they had a situation to where Owens has got a title match, or maybe Owens wins the Royal Rumble and he's now going to face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. That's a big if. Could be a lot of people ahead of Owens in that line, but if that turned out to be the case, I could see... Oh, Shane McMahon is the referee, because that's right, he's being punished by Vince. I forgot. I totally forgot. So if Owens wins the Rumble, maybe during the build of Roman and Owens to WrestleMania, at some point you have Austin show up and, based on their match last year, you know, have respect for Owens and give him a little motivation talk. This man's been running around here for 3 damn years undefeated. You know, it's time for you to step up. You haven't been champion in 6 years or whatever it's been. Go out there and show the world that, you know, you belong here. You took me to the limit last year in the main event, and after being in the ring with you, I know what you can do, and I know you can beat Roman, and kind of give him a little pep talk. You know, I mean, Owens uses the stunner, you know, and maybe that could be a great little last push to get him to actually be a world champion again. But right now, not only is Roman monopolizing both belts, but it seems like the list of guys that should be champion like this year is pretty long, and it's going to be tough to manage all that. There's not a right answer. Somebody will be left out. You got Owens and Sheamus and Seth Rollins and Cody, and all those guys I think deserve a run. Sammy. All right, we got Jacqueline and Sable. Jacqueline, I think, got the jump on Sable there. This shit is still going on between these two. Sable started the year with Luna. I've been working with Jackie ever since. Oh, big kick. I would have loved for Chyna to get her hands on Sable around this time. This is probably, since Triple H is off TV, this is likely around the time that Chyna, she was probably getting some of that initial work done when WWE, I kind of think, pressured her into doing that. But she would have it by early 99 or late 98, so it's probably all going on right now. Oh my God. Powerbomb to Marrow. The lowly referee. I like that Vince says lowly referee. I'm like, you're a referee in WWE. You got a pretty important job. You're not a lowly referee. It's not even fair to call the ring crew guys lowly, because without them, you don't have a show either. It's like in my restaurant, you know, if somebody makes a comment about, you know, a dishwasher or something, well, I'm like, well, we can't run a restaurant without them. So they are absolutely crucial. And you need good ones. And it's worth a couple of extra bucks an hour to pay them above minimum wage to keep good, reliable people on. It's worth every penny. Lowly referee. Yeah, I preferred Sonny over Sable as well. I wasn't a fan of either, to be honest, in terms of their personality. They both sounded like complete assholes. I'm much more of a Jacqueline guy. And Luna and some of the other women they had around there at that time. Sonny and Sable, I've heard nothing but bad stories about. But to Sable's credit, She did have a couple of runs in WWE, both of which were successful, even though there was some bad blood and lawsuits there. And she went on to marry Brock Lesnar, has a family, and kept her shit straight. You know, Sable is not crashing her car into people and killing them. She is just living her life with Brock, and despite her attitude problems from back in the day, you know what? A lot of people had attitude problems back in the day. Randy Orton and Shawn Michaels, and plenty of men did too. They were pricks, just like Sable was a prick. Big Sable bomb. So you can chalk it up to immaturity. Sable wins the championship. Yippee. And now she would get a big head, be uncooperative, be a diva, so to speak, and she'd be out of the company in, what, 6 months? But yeah, I never liked Sable or any of that, and and Sunny I just will continue to despise because she never got her shit together. She never grew up, ever. If anything, she got worse to the point where she hit about as rock bottom as you can get. You take another human life in an avoidable, preventable situation, and the only reason that this person is not alive is because of your fucking stupidity, you're irredeemable. So people being jerks backstage is not great, but at the end of the day, we all grow and learn. And I'd be willing to bet Sable today is not the same person she was in 1998. I'm not. That's for sure. 98 Greg and 2022 Greg are two totally different people. You were a terrible guy. I was a great guy back in the day, but I was a different version of myself, a much less experienced version of myself, and much less wise version of myself. And with age comes experience, and you learn from your mistakes, and I wouldn't be where I am today without those mistakes anyway, so they had to be made. But some of them weren't pretty, and it's what you do. You learn. Now, am I right this time? It's going to be Austin facing Mankind. If I go get a beer and come back and Iron Mike Sharp's in the ring, I'm going to be like, what am I misremembering? Here comes Austin. Oh, what a great camera shot. The flame with the skull. That's awesome. Here he comes. He's beaten up, bruised and battered. Does he get attacked in the aisleway? Why do I get a feeling he's going to be attacked in the aisleway? Like the way the camera's on him? No, maybe not. Okay. He'll make it. I think he's going to make it. Terry. Who the hell's Terry? Oh, Terry Runnels. Oh, yeah. I'd say like 1998 Terry, maybe not 98, maybe like 2002 Terry Runnels is a very frequent patron in my restaurant. There are lots of them. Who's being? Oh, okay. I was like, you're gonna boo this? No way. I think it's because our best friend is coming. Vince in his little chair. Austin detoxes Mick Foley. Sometimes you got to detox a guy, Take me over here. I like that Vince has WWE logos on the side of the wheelchair. They took the time to put those on there. Which, to get pieces of plastic with WWE logos printed up and adhesive them in some way to that chair had to have taken more than like a few minutes, right? They dedicated actual time, probably close to an hour or more of manpower, to put little tiny WWE things on the side. Unless those blank plates were already there and it was just a sticker, but they look custom to me. Big running knees from Mick Foley. Jesus. Crazy history between these two guys. Tag champs the previous year. A couple of run-ins in 98 just due to the Undertaker stuff. Would beat Austin for the title at SummerSlam the next year. Piston-like right hands. Yeah, I like Medusa too. I like any woman like Medusa who was just so crazy that she could take the boys. Sherry was like that too, fucking nuts. I wouldn't get in her face. Me and Medusa got in a fight, she would beat the shit out of me. And I just wouldn't want to put myself in that situation. So that's why I like women like Medusa. They're just badass. You think I'd want to fucking wrestle Bianca Belair? She'd pick me up and toss me over the top rope through the announce table. With ease. You get like a slow-mo of me, like Logan Paul's cell phone video. No! And then I crash through the tables as Bianca laughs. Oh, man. Rhea Ripley would knock me into next Tuesday. Beth Phoenix would make me cry to my mommy. I don't want nothing to do with any of these women. Kelly, on the other hand, I am certain cannot hurt me. I mean, not in a bad way, anyway. Yeah, this is all interesting stuff. RNO, we talked about it earlier with the finish here. WWE kind of getting a one-up on Wrestling with Shadows that would be released in just a couple of weeks after this, following month, I think. Oh, security guy. Don't go down, buddy. Oh. Yeah, Austin's pissed. I like angry Austin. He's the best. Wrestling with Shadows. Right there. I also have the DVD, but I'm not looking for that. That could be anywhere. Johnny Hex, what's going on? Good to see you. Hey, how are you? I love your setup. Thank you, man. As a matter of fact, you want to see me build it? Here you go. Click this link. I'll title it My Setup. If you want to see me put this room together, check it out. Welcome. Hopefully you subscribe, Johnny. Hey, Barry, how have you been? Where have you been? Back from work? How deadly are the games? Dude, they've been deadly as shit. You should have seen all the deadliness happening. It's like we thought there was a bunch of deadliness and that was going to end there, but then there was more deadliness. And we still have an hour and a half left with plenty of potential for deadliness. So it's been deadly, deadly. We got to hear Regal's Man's Man theme, which was awesome. So far, the highlight of the night. It was so manly. I was like just beaming with enjoyment because of the manliness. Austin has a knot coming out of his forehead area there. 14-9 halftime. Kansas City down. Yeah, Sasha's back in that, and so is Naomi apparently back into that signature intro, so that makes me think we might see them tomorrow. I kind of want them to have a shitty Raw because I have a lot of stuff to do tomorrow, and some of it is channel related, and a Raw review would kind of get in the way of what I have planned, but I will be here to do a review if they come back, for sure. I might be up here to do a review anyway, just a matter of how I schedule out the rest of my next day or so. But yesterday was long, man. 9 a.m. pay-per-view, hour-and-a-half podcast. Then I went to work forever, got home super late last night. Then had to watch Stranger Things Season 3 finale with Elizabeth. It's a good thing we got that extra hour because we went to bed at 4 a.m., but it would have been 5 a.m., you know, normal times. It was a long-ass day. All right, Mankind's got a chair. Here we go. So at some point we're going to see this ridiculous chair shot. Or maybe it's Mankind that hits Austin with it, no? You know what? We Are Pro Wrestling. I don't know if you're still here. Am I remembering right about a story about perhaps Big Boss Man missing a cue or something here? And that's why they had to go to this like shitty finish. And Austin kicks out of that. I forgot what happened. I know Shane runs out. I thought there was some backstory to this, but I might be misremembering. Paulie, I only had one Stella. It's gone. Drank it right here. See? Stella. I'm onto a Lagunitas IPA. Very light, easy to drink IPA. It's not too heavy. It's like 6% alcohol instead of like 9%. Like some of them are. Stunner. Did Austin... Vince jumped out. Okay, so that's where he reveals himself. Okay. He's healed. Oh, that was a good punch and a good sell by Kyoto. I was thinking Vince jumped out in the main event, but no, he didn't. He jumped out here. Boom, another stunner. His pants are down. Oh, his pants. Foley. Oh, stunner again. You're dead, son. Here comes somebody. Somebody's coming. Shane. That blew my mind. Even the spotlight's on him. Look at that. And he didn't count. Doesn't Shane McMahon look like Fred Savage? What would you do? I love how they're blurring the middle fingers. Like, what the... Can you guys handle a middle finger if you saw it? Does that mean you're worshiping Satan now if you saw a middle finger? Oh, no. When you're a kid, the middle finger is one of the first fucking things you learn. I was like in first grade when I learned what the middle finger was. You're not poisoning any young minds by showing a middle finger. Oh, there they are. Look at. Oh, God. I think that's worse. I think that's worse than Hogan and Conan. In my free time, I'm going to do a side-by-side video on Twitter. Which one's worse? Mankind. This is where Boss Man missed a spot. So is that why they went with Briscoe? Vince skips. God, the way he runs. His arms are always like up in the air. Like what alpha male do you know who runs like Vince? He just shakes his hands like he runs like my grandma. That's how my grandma would run to the mailbox. If like a new box of Werther's Originals just arrived and she's excited to get to them. That's how my grandma would run. What kind of chair shot was that? The best kind. You know how many foods are shaped like dicks? The best kinds. It's my favorite movie quote. Yeah, so they're editing out them saying WWF, but you can still see the logo. And then some other pay-per-views you'll watch, the logo will be blurred. And I think what it is a lot of this footage is just mixed up. They've got different digital copies of different shows from different platforms they've had them on. It's just a mishmash of bullshit, and none of the editing is matching up. Ravishing Rick Rude's theme was on the Raw review members only that we watched just a couple of weeks ago, but it wasn't on SummerSlam 1990. I don't understand. Make it make sense. Because there very well may be a logical explanation for it as to why all that shit's so goofed up like that with different, rights and things like that, but it's annoying as hell. Jim Ross is pissed. I saw it. The double bird, the double middle finger. That's twice as bad as a single middle finger. Look at that guy right behind him is flashing it, and they're not editing that out. That's the best. A bunch of Fred Dursts out here. But you guys all went through life, right? What year did you learn the middle finger? You probably knew the middle finger before you fully stopped wetting the bed. That's how early, I think, as a kid, most kids know that. The look on Austin, I mean, that surprised the hell out of me as a fan, because when Shane's hand is coming down, you just expect it to go 3 because he's been a babyface on TV and he brought Austin back. I didn't doubt it for a second, so that was twice. They got me on this show already, and they'd get you again. This was all very well laid out. All right. Next match, Undertaker and Rock, I believe. Zane G, appreciate the $5 from you, man. Word was Boss Man was supposed to interfere, but he was busy talking to The Undertaker. Yeah, I knew that was... I kind of remembered it as we were watching it. I'm like, oh, yeah, I think that's why we have that really bad chair shot, because Boss Man screwed something up. I think he got in trouble. So imagine what's going on right now as we're talking. What was going on behind the scenes? I mean, was he getting chewed out and yelled at? Austin's probably mad at him. God damn it. We'll bring you back. You do this? I mean, Undertaker doesn't look like a guy who's going to the finals, It's like written all over his face. This whole night's about The Rock. Yeah, you bought... Oh, Gilbert, you bought a Kid Rock album? I'm sorry. That's okay. I forgive you. His CD cover was flipping both birds. Yeah, so, I mean, shit. It's everywhere. Oh, first year junior high? Okay, you got a late start, Star Killer. Maybe I'm just a demonized kid. Maybe I am a deviant, a reprobate. Maybe I'm just a scuzzy little trailer trash piece of shit. But I learned the middle finger, literally at age 5. I was definitely flipping the bird by age 6. I also had terrible influences, I think, at the time. The people that babysat me. I had some gnarly memories. They got into some trouble. So maybe it was them. But I turned out okay. I got a roof over my head, clothes on my back, and food in my belly. And somehow the middle finger did not jeopardize any of that. The Rock says, know your damn role. So this is kind of... What do we got going on here? Oh, yeah, Undertaker's a heel. I mean, fans aren't popping like crazy here for The Rock. They're a little quiet. I can't get over how well that spot was pulled off with a nightstick. That was so good. Oh, yeah. He comes out. We get an intentional. Okay, it's okay that we're kind of spoiling it here. Normally, I don't like to be spoiled. Hopefully, we're not spoiling it for any of you. But I just kind of remember this show a little better than some others we've watched. Sometimes I've completely forgotten. And it's like watching it for the first time, but I do remember. Ever since I was little, I always lived like in a neighborhood or like a subdivision with a lot of houses around it and a lot of streets that you could walk on and ride bikes, no heavy traffic, nothing like that, with just tons of houses. And a lot of the houses contained kids. And a lot of us kids went to the same school. And so when I was a little kid, a lot of times the older kids would live just next door or across the street or down the road, and I would see them outside or at the playground or just walking around, and I'd see the bird being flipped all the time with the older kids. And so I just learned it at a really early age. But when you're a kid, you're a kid. You're dumb. You don't understand even what it is. I didn't know. I was like, hey, look, middle finger. And then somebody had to tell me you're not supposed to do that. I learned curse words way too early. Over the barricade or through it? Nope. Be careful too, old camera guys or production guys. That's quite the large arena they have there. What did they use the Kiel Center primarily for? Just events and concerts and stuff? Did a team play there? St. Louis Blues. I guess the Blues would probably play there, huh? That's who plays there. Sag, appreciate the $2. Did you ever get in any scuffles at WWE events? No, luckily I did not. I would never really try to. I had a couple of rough occurrences there. One where I was ringside and, it was a house show. Security was lax, and fans really started kind of bombarding and pushing the barricades a lot. And there was almost like a little bit of a trampling of riot feel effect to it, but no fights. I had a couple of like assholes sitting behind me or in front of me, but nothing that would warrant a fight. So no, trust me, I'm not going to shows to have fights. I'm going there to have a good time. We bought tickets and went to shows all the time. And a lot of times we'd go to multiple shows in a row. And we'd have a show to go to the next day and the day after. And I don't want to have to go to the doctor instead of going to the show. So even if I were to win a fight, I could still get a broken jaw or something like that happen to me. So not worth the risk unless I would only fight if it was like if I had to fight. If there was no way out of the situation other than to fight, then I will fight. But it's got to be that. And I'm never going to be the instigator. I can defend myself really well because when I was a kid, I was born in New Jersey, and my mom drove me all the way across the country to Southern California, where we got a little one-bedroom shitty apartment that was kind of gross, and the maintenance man that lived down below, he was an expert karate fighter. And some bullies were giving me some trouble at school, and at a Halloween party, they all dressed up like skeletons and kicked the shit out of me. And he came and saved me. He saved me and beat the crap out of all of them. And then I asked him to train me in karate and martial arts, and he taught me his whole entire family secrets. So it was great. And then I ended up entering a karate tournament, and the very same bullies that beat me up, all 5 of them, I beat all 5 of them in the tournament, including the leader in the finals, and won the tournament. And I've been a karate champion ever since. So I'm not scared of anybody. I'll whoop their ass. When you think about it, I think you can make a movie out of my life story, Call it like the martial arts man or something like that. He had unconventional training methods. He would have me like wash his cars and shit and paint his house. And I'd be like, why is he treating me like, you know, his employee? He's not even paying me. He's treating me like a slave almost. And I was getting really, really mad at him because I had single-handedly transformed his whole entire home and backyard. And I was getting pissed that I wasn't learning any karate and learning a hell of a lot of sanding decks. Little did I know, he's such a kidder. All of this was just to prepare me for defensive moves. And I didn't realize it at the time, but then he showed me one day, and I didn't even realize that I was learning a ton of karate without even noticing it. That was the brilliance of this man. I wish more people knew about him, but I want to respect his privacy. You know, he was a quiet man. He didn't like to talk much, and he was very close with me and my family, and we wouldn't want to. Oh, Paul Bearer with the shoe. I wouldn't want to tarnish his memory in any way by, you know, being disrespectful to his memory. So on behalf of my teacher, I want to keep his name out of it. I could check, you know, with his good friend Sato, who lives in Okinawa. He might think it's okay. I'm also a boxer. I'm a really good boxer. I retired for a while, but then this big Russian killed a friend of mine, and I had to get back in the ring. So I'm not too scared of like a physical confrontation. I've had my share of them. Big Russians, skeleton bullies, wearing outfits with snakes on them. It's crazy. A rough childhood, man. Chris Ludek, what's going on? See what I did there? Damn, that's a good story. There's a show based on your experience starring Tanner Buchanan. Who the fuck is Tanner Buchanan? Oh, I bet you he's one of the... Oh, I know who he is. He's Robbie. Yeah, he's back. Boss man, fresh off of getting chewed the F out backstage by God knows who. Austin, probably Vince, everybody. Now he's out there, white as a ghost. Oh, my God. Rock has to pantomime how large Paul Bearer is. That's hilarious. Detained. Oh. Takes him down. Yeah, Boss Man's out there to help him win. Oh, Taker's got a choker. He's got a choker. At some point, we got to see Big Red Man. Oh, choke. The look on Taker's face is priceless. What the fuck? Ah, son of a bitch. Oh, and he punches Earl. Poor Earl. Oh, wow. No, they're not back together again. They're fighting. Smart, Kane, and The Rock is going to move on. Now, this might have been... Now, I'm trying to think in terms of Mr. McMahon's story here, or his motivations. So would this have been kind of like a happy accident? Boss Man and stuff was out there to try to ensure that The Rock won, but Kane ended up coming out there, which I don't think was planned, but it worked to their favor anyway. And now Rock moves on, which was the plan. So I think the plan was to have Boss Man go out there and make a pretend mistake again, costing Taker the match. I guess that's what they were going for. And Rock has advanced. And he's in the finals, right? Yeah. So he defeated Bossman, Shamrock, and Undertaker to get to the finals to face Mick Foley. And poor Earls got punched in the face. Poor guy. Michael Cuomo, good to see you. Welcome back. Thank you for the $5. When across the pond, I learned the hard way that the thumbs up is their middle finger. Did I know that? I did not know that. Oh, I do that a lot on the channel because I think thumbs up are funny. I put thumbs up emojis on a whole bunch of shit. My bad. Am I flipping half my listeners off? Oops. Those are great. I went to so many shows with those blimps floating around. They were loud, those motors. Buzzed. Foley, look at him. One more rock. I would imagine that mask had to be grosser wearing it when you're clean shaven. It's probably leathery and sweaty, and it's just all up and mashed against your skin. I would almost think like a beard would help pad that a little bit, maybe. Oh, the Outlaws. That's right. What do they do? Do they have a match? One year earlier. We just watched that show last week for the members. The Outlaws won the tag titles from the LOD. I was at that show. That's not see-through. His ass cheeks aren't hanging out, is it? I don't think so. Oh, okay, good. Enigma. That's not true? Okay. See, I believe that. How have I lived this long and not known that, if that was true? My chef is British, and he had, when we were drinking one night, he gave me a whole explanation of the differences between a wanker and a tosser. I don't remember what those differences are now, but there is a difference apparently. And I was like, it's good to know, man. He broke it all down for me. It was hilarious. He had like 4 of us laughing our ass off. He was great. This fool is still in the ring, Billy Gunn. And I mean fool in a not an insulting way. I think Billy's in better shape now than he is right here in 1998. Oh, the Headbangers? Triple threat match, okay. So the Outlaws are going to retain here. This is our buffer in between the this and the main event. Oh, Brown and Henry too? Is that what this is? What's random? I did miss the Sunday Night Heat. I do miss the Sunday Night Heats. They were great. Especially when they would air on MTV. That was so fun. I'm pretty sure on a lot of those nights, like Jackass was the lead into that. So on pay-per-view Sundays, we would try to get an early start and be in the house with all of our food and everything we needed. And then watch Jackass and then watch Sunday Night Heat and then watch the pay-per-views. I don't think Jackass was on quite yet, but when Heat would move to MTV, that was always fun. Mark Henry's claim to fame is the 1996 Olympics and the sexual harassment lawsuit. That's the funniest thing I've ever heard. Yeah, so I guess I didn't quite put that together in my head that Kane and Undertaker did wrestle in the very same building that he debuted in a year prior, right? That's kind of cool. I never put that together until now. Yeah, Barry, I agree. It was a really cool way to do the pre-shows because you could put matches on there. And it became like we would see kickoff shows too. It's like the same thing they do in later years, but back then the crowd was mostly there by the time Heat started, you know. But doing extra backstage stuff and everything was always fun on Heat prior to pay-per-views. And sometimes, like we see here, they would shoot a last-minute angle for the pay-per-view on Heat right before the show. Pre-shows really went through quite a large evolution in WWE. They changed it up a lot. I mean, they used to have like the pay-per-view countdown shows, which would be just on like the pay-per-view channel. And they would be plugging the stuff. And then it kind of moved. And in the 90s, they kind of did the free-for-all, which would air on those preview channels a lot as well, which you could watch there to order the show or whatnot. And then they would move to Sunday Night Heat after that, would kind of serve as the pre-show. And then I think they would just do pre-shows and kickoffs after that. I forgot what they would do after that, but they've had lots of different versions of it. And it doesn't seem right, like, help me out, it doesn't seem like they really do kickoff matches anymore. When was the last time WWE did matches on their kickoff show in modern times? Feels like it's been a while. Maybe they've gotten rid of it and I don't recall reading the story. 17-9, Tennessee over Kansas City. Three in the ring. Yes, 3 in the ring. Let's make it tornado. Mike, I got to decide on next week's watch-along. We'll figure that out. I'll probably either put a poll up or I'll just outright decide. 91, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are all on the list. I think it's going to be one of those. So that would make a good poll. I might have the fans decide that, or the members, like you guys, decide that. Yeah, I don't want pre-show matches at all. Yeah, I think 95 is a good one. Oh, John, thank you. Both are the same thing. He insisted they were different. I don't really recall the differences now, but he tried to tell me it was. Tatanani, do you really want to make me watch Bret Hart lose a championship? I'd rather watch Bret Hart win a championship in 1995. I would pick 95 over 94, but we might do a poll. 87, I do want to do an 87 watch-along as well. I wonder if the Coliseum video version of 87 is only a 2-hour show. I'm curious if it's longer on Peacock. I don't have time to look it up right now. But while these guys are beating the shit out of each other, I will be right back. Just hang here. I'm going to turn the volume down just a second so I don't get anything picked up, and I'll be back in literally 30 seconds. We are back. Hopefully that was not longer than 30 seconds. We did not get a finish while I was gone. That's good. Thank you to those of you tonight too for smashing that thumbs up. I always like to see more likes than we have viewers. That's what we're going for here. So appreciate it. I got to do a like campaign. I swear, likes are like a problem area on the channel. I mean, YouTube has always had its like ups and downs. We don't get the views and stuff that we used to here on the channel, but I still have a very successful channel that earns me revenue and money, and it's fun. And I'm happy with the engagement and the views and everything. But man, those likes are weak. But everybody, as always, smashing the hell out of the thumbs up button. They're doing all they can. The regulars and all you guys are hitting it like crazy. Oh, yikes. That was actually very close. That's the very same move that hurt Draws, and that was a very close call on that sunset flip. Lies! Rumble 90? Yeah, Rumble season would be fun. I want to do like a 90. I want to do, what's another one that we have not done? We did 97. I'm not a big fan of 98 or 99, to be honest. I think we've done 2000 as well. Have we done 2000? But yeah, I think an early. I know we've done 92. I think. I got to look at the playlist. I'm starting to forget. We've definitely done 2001. Or 2002, I should say. Ooh. Yeah, YouTube's always had effed up algorithms. I was like, I'm doing all I can. I'm coming up here as often as I can talking about wrestling. You guys are all great. You got a great community in here. People are loyal as hell. Some of you have been with me listening for God knows how long, since you were children, and now you're full-blown adults. So I'm extremely happy with my fan base and the loyalty and all that stuff. It's great. But some of those little numbers in the YouTube analytics, I need to increase. What do we got? 2 hours, 12 minutes on the time? All right. So, yeah, it's going to go right into Mankind and The Rock after this, I think. Okay, so I reviewed 2000 Rumble but didn't watch it. That's what I thought. I think maybe like a 93 Royal Rumble watch-along might be fun. When Yoko won. We've done Royal Rumble 92. We've done 97. We have done 94. That's right. I forgot about 94. We've done that one with Taker. Come on, Road Dogg. And we've done... That's it, I guess. I've only done... And then Royal Rumble 2002 I've done. And for some reason, I've only done Royal Rumble 2005. I think that's when I was testing out the watch-along idea, and I just did the match. Not the whole show, just the match. So, yeah, there's plenty of Rumbles for us to do. So we'll have to do some in January for sure. Come on, Timmy, get down there. This match is a clunky pile of garbage, I think. Yeah, I'm trying to remember 90. I know Hogan wins that. That'll be the big showdown with him and Warrior in that. We didn't watch that one? Oh, there we go. Outlaws win. Billy Gunn looking so young, but he's probably close to 40 at that point. Yeah, we did Royal Rumble 92. I can see it right here on the thing. The ones that I've seen that we've done are, we've done 2003. I'm sorry, I missed that one too. So we've done Royal Rumble 92, 94, 97, 2003. I see on here. And I think that's it for the Rumbles. So we're a little light on the Rumbles. We have some room to do some more. Yeah, we watched Rumble last year. What was the date on that one? Yeah, last year. Last January. Nine months ago. I think the only ones, Ruben, between that time period, because that's not my favorite time period to watch, but 2007, I think might be a fun one. Because I think that was Undertaker and Shawn like in the finals or something, or the last two. And I think that was Cena and Umaga. Oh, shit. They're replaying. With their cronies. Yeah, Sean Marty, Brett Razor. I did review 93 as well. There's a 93 review on my channel for sure. And we need to do some Starcades during December. Yeah, we did some last year too. We did 94, or I'm sorry, 98, 97 maybe. All right, it's time. I miss it being called World Wrestling Federation. Those were the days. We've done Starcade 93. We've done Starcade 98. And that's it for the Starcades. So we can do some Starcades next month. Here it is. Here comes Mankind. And so this was pretty trippy to me as a fan because it's telling me that, I mean, either way, the WWE Champion is going to be pretty interesting. We're either getting The Rock as WWE Champion 2 years after he started, or we're going to get Mankind as the champion. And Mankind hadn't won the title yet. So either way, this was going to be different. It's more than the last three. I think Jim Ross just said the last three Survivor Series. That would have been 97, 96, and 95, but it also changed hands at 94. So this would be the fifth year in a row that we'd have a new champion at Survivor Series. Brawl for all over the Invasion Alliance. The Alliance and the Invasion wasn't great, but as a fan, I still managed to enjoy a good portion of it, way more than I did the Brawl for All. I was at Survivor Series 2001. Watched that whole thing conclude. All right, there's Boss Man. They're sending Boss Man away. Yeah, blurred it again. Vince had to pretend to be nice to him for the storyline, but he's probably pissed for missing his cue earlier. Yeah, Stone Cold joining them was bullshit, but it had to be done because they turned him heel at WrestleMania. So when you started the invasion angle, that by default made every WWE star a babyface. And if you want to continue the Austin heel run, instead of just turning him heel for 2 months and then back to a babyface, he had to join the alliance. It's like, it's the only way to do it. Otherwise, he's just going to be cheered. Butterbean KO'd Bart. That's right. I was there. I was in the arena for that show, too. Poor Bart. What a story these two guys would have. They had wrestled at a 97 pay-per-view, but I don't know if Rock and Mankind were really doing a ton of shit together yet on TV. All that Rock and Sock shit would come the next year. But this would begin their next several pay-per-view program they'd have here. I think they work 4 in a row. They'd work here. They'd work at Rock Bottom the following month. Of course, we know what would happen at the Royal Rumble with that. But Mankind is already less than 2 months away here from winning the title. He's going to win it in January. Rock will win it back at the Rumble. Foley will win it back in the empty arena match, and then I think Rock will win it back on Raw after the pay-per-view. So they wrestled a ton of times for the championship. Probably somewhere 6, 7 championship matches between the two of them in that short amount of time. Between the 2 Raws and the 3 and the 4 pay-per-views, whatever it is. It's crazy. And the empty arena match. Yeah, I think that's 7. Wrestled for the title here at Rock Bottom on January 4th at the Royal Rumble in the empty arena match at that February pay-per-view in 99 would have been St. Valentine's Day Massacre. And then I think the following night on Raw, right? That's 7 title matches between now and then, with maybe another one stuck in there between and probably a shit ton on the house show schedule. That's a lot. Yeah. Papa Shango at Mania 8. I don't know what you guys are talking about there, but he also missed his cue. Oh, somebody asked, what is some of the best miscues of all time? I'm not sure if I'm aware of very many. I know Papa Shango, obviously, and Boss Man here, Vicky Guerrero in that ladder match, Mr. Q. I always like when Mick Foley screams out when he's delivering punches and kicks. It's just making all these sounds like a dog when he has indigestion. Poor Bub is laying on the back of the couch kind of looking at me, wondering what the hell I'm doing. I think my dad is going crazy. He's looking at the wall and talking. Who's coming? Oh, yeah, of course we know who's coming. You know that Austin t-shirt, just the snake on the front? I wasn't a fan of that one. I like the old school Austin 316. We swagger when we walk. There's Fred Savage and his dad. Yeah, Eddie going off in the ladder match. Look at them beautiful emojis by Zach. I'll update those soon. I don't think the Winged Eagle and the IC title and Brett is going anywhere, but I might move some of the other ones around. Oh, the snake arm shirt. That's your favorite? Wow. I just like the old classic one. The snake arm shirt gives me bad memories, because isn't that the one that he wore to the ring at WrestleMania 15 when he forgot his vest? I got robbed of that. I got robbed of Austin's normal entrance, his vest, his full look, and I had to get the snake shirt instead. So I think that's why I'm bitter towards it. I should get over that, though. I watched Austin wrestle a shit ton of times. I don't get the vest one time when I attend live, and I'm freaking out. Don't lose your composure. Well, I just think this match by default should also be no disqualification. Well, just plywood on the floor. They don't even have that covered. That's the best they got. Good night, Yachiro. Good to see you. HBK, heart as an emoji. Sure, we'll throw HBK in there. That's a good idea. Maybe we got to get a Roman one. I'll get some more topical ones. We'll get Brett. We'll get an HBK. We'll get a Roman. Maybe a Sammy. Sammy would be good. We got to get a Sammy in there. Yeah, one fall to a finish. I feel like there should be no disqualification. Can you make a multiple hour scroll video, guide scroll video? I mean, I could. You know, another idea I've had lately, although it's going to take a credible amount of work and editing, and I don't even know if I have the time, but just sitting here doing these watch-alongs, this is footage, you know? This is just raw footage that I'm just recording. I'm not editing it. It's just going straight up on YouTube. You've seen these, like, reaction channels, right? Not like dumb reaction channels, but people like watching movies, you know, where it's kind of them reacting, but it's edited and chopped up, and they show footage from whatever movie they're watching. It's just done in really short 2-second clips. You know, if I had the time, I would, you know, maybe experiment with starting a second YouTube channel, titling it something else, and taking the footage from all of these watch-alongs and editing them with the footage and putting that on a second channel as a side hustle. The only problem is editing it in that style I can do. It's just, it would be time-consuming, and it would be tough to do it. And I don't know if it would be worth bringing an editor on to help me with that if it's a brand new YouTube channel that's probably not going to garner much attention anyway until it starts picking up steam. And I don't know if I'd want to risk putting it on this channel, although it wouldn't matter, you know. These days, the copyright stuff is different. If your video gets hit, it just gets removed and you can fix it. Your channel's not banned or anything like that. Where back in the day, that might have been a problem. So just an idea I've been tossing around in my head. I'm like, I've got hours and hours of footage of just me sitting here. I could re-edit these, the footage of this, and make it a more visible, watchable watch video, you know? Shorten it down to 30 minutes instead of 3 hours. Maybe longer than 30 minutes, 45 minutes, something like that. Poor Foley. No hands up, whatever. He just ate that chair shot face first and then got rock snot blown on him for his efforts. Oh, yeah, shorts. But shorts are shorts. Yeah, I got a second YouTube channel that's kind of dormant, but the thing is, I almost think it would be better to start from scratch. And, you know, instead of having a channel that's been sitting there dead in the algorithm that suddenly has videos, even though there's some subscribers sitting there, 5,000, something like that, I haven't put anything on that channel in like 4 years. So it might be fun just to try on the side, if you know, and call it Bald Guy Wrestling or something like that. Or put one up as a test on my main channel with a link directing, you know, to at least we can get a little initial batch of subscribers at first, which could push it in the algorithms a little bit. Oh, this channel's got a lot of notice in a couple of days. Maybe that will help me. I don't know. Just a thought, but I'd have to do a little bit of studying of that editing style first, you know, and just watch how some people do it and how they structure it. And be like, once I get it, I'm like, okay, I can do that. And then do it. It's just, then I'm asking myself to take time away from this channel and stuff like that. And I just don't know. So I wish I had more hours. But the good thing about doing something like that on the side is that part of the work is already done. I've already done the recording, you know? So I don't have to do that. I don't have to sit there and watch all this shit again. I have all the footage, so I can just use that. Oh, he's airing it out. Interception. Oh, that was almost a nice one-handed grab by Tennessee there. Trying to put this game away. Another thing that we have to appreciate about this match is not only was this a swerve and The Rock turning heel, this was a double turn, and this was hard to pull off. I mean, JR's pissed. Come on, referee, stop Mankind from going nuts on The Rock, and in just a few minutes, the sympathy is going to reverse. K-Dog's Kennel, even typing the words Theory cashes in the Money in the Bank gives me a heart attack. So don't suggest that. But I do think they're planning something big for Austin Theory. And when you think about the possibility of them moving Money in the Bank to WrestleMania, that means that one of two things are going to happen. We are either going to have two Mr. Money in the Banks running around, or Austin Theory could enter a second time and win a second one. And now he has two briefcases. And he still has till that year and a couple of months to cash in the first one. And then he can try to do them back-to-back or whatever, but that would be almost funnier if he has two briefcases, or if you have two separate briefcase holders at the same time. Could be an excellent way to figure out an ununification. If the first Money in the Bank briefcase holder comes down and beats Roman, and then the second one comes down there and beats that person, that could be an excellent way for Triple H to say, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to say, this match is going to be for the world title, and this match is going to be for the Universal, and we're all going to go our separate ways. That could be used as something to help facilitate however the hell they're going to ever ununify these belts, if they ever are at all. Otherwise, unify them permanently. Universal title is now dead, and bring back the big gold belt. Oh, DDT to Mankind. Nuclear heat if that happens. That's true. I forgive you, though, Kevin, because you're so great. Any other person mentioning something like that will get blocked. But you can say whatever you want. Yeah, live reactions would be fun to do, but that's kind of why I started doing the Dynamite ones, because I kind of preferred to do reviews for pay-per-views. So to fill that live reaction void, you know, I figured I'd do Dynamites, because back in the day I used to do Raws, but Raws got boring, and so we abandoned that. God, Mankind with the second rope, elbow through the table, exploding. Oh, my God. Oh, those are cool-looking chairs. I would like to have a Deadly Game chair. That would be awesome. The skull on there look awesome. Oh, my God, Foley. Hugo. Hugo is... Imagine in Hugo's career how many spots he has gotten a bird's-eye view of. Or a close-up view of, I should say. In-person account. Yeah, I think Cody is definitely on the table, man. I feel him too, but I also feel like a lot of other guys. And plus, depending on how the Sammy storyline plays out, who knows what kind of U-turns they might have to take here. People's elbow. 2. And he kicked out. Wow. Both the McMahons had to. It almost looked like they were going to interfere, but I'm like, well, they don't want to because they want The Rock to win. And I think when they go into the finish, I think it's something like The Rock does like the eyebrow and looks at Vince, and then next thing you know, and look, Earl's in the ring again. You have to, oh my God, that's actually another. King has had 2 funny lines tonight, and you're gonna have a little belt made from Mr. Sacco. That's hilarious. Sacco with a little championship belt. Oh, look at the sunglasses and long hair guy from ECW, and a lot of other WWE shows. Come on, Rock. Rock bottom. All right, Rock, you're going to have to get up here and lock in that sharpshooter, one-upping Brett 1 month before Wrestling with Shadows comes out. And Foley kicks out. What a stud. What a stud. Oh, here it is. Look there. There's the eyebrow. McMahon said, ring the bell. And the crowd cheers. And Vince has got the belt. No. And the big triple hug. Oh, man, we were marking out. My buddy Daniel, he was a little more pro-Rock than me, and he was just loving it. And I was like, this motherfucker. I was more of an Austin guy. They screwed us all, you piece of shit. And then I was right back to hating The Rock. Because I started being like, getting on his bandwagon a little bit there. And I'm like, okay, good. I'm going to continue to hate him. Good. And that's a much better corporate champion than the monsters he's had since Austin won the title. The people screwed the people. It's our fault, y'all. Particularly you guys. Not so much me, but definitely you guys. It's your fault. Oh, now you're going to shit on Mick.
I'll be happy to elaborate a great deal more tomorrow night. However, one other thing, and that is I would like to publicly state on behalf of the McMahon family that we are so proud here tonight for a number of reasons.
Yeah, John, Rock doesn't have the best sharpshooter. It's better than Sting's. I think they do. I think they got to do like the Hogan must pose thing here with Austin. I think it comes out. Okay, yeah. The following night, Undertaker cost Austin the title. And I remember like Mills Lane having something to do with that, right?
Thank you. And I told the world that, Dad, I'm just like you after all. Aren't I, Dad?
And look at Mankind's very confused.
All right, Rock. failure. Vince, just like last Sunday on Heat, when The Rock said he'd rather be the people's ass than to ever kiss yours. Well, tonight, it's time for each and every single piece of Trailer Park.
Oh, he's back to calling us all Trailer Park trash again. You dirty fucker, Rock. Die, Rocky, die. Remember the next night his promo? But Dad. Dad. I love that he called him Dad. Oh. Get this. Mankind's going to be like, yeah, I'm going to be getting that title on January 4th, old man. Look how mad Kane is in the front row. Kane and Goldust and Mankind are heartbroken. It's like the guy dressed as Hogan at King of the Ring had to watch him get his ass kicked. The corporate champion. Vince, nobody can ever get the buttons on, the snaps. Look at Vince. It's like, I can't do it. He's holding his ass. Rock, hold this. I can't do it. I love that they couldn't get it on him. Just snap it, Vince. Fucking idiot. Give it to me. I'll do it. I'll show you how to do it. We've all put our replica titles on. We know what to do. And here comes Austin. It's like, well, fucking motherfucker. And there you go. There is your WrestleMania main event. Planted right there. Oh, this is a double turn in my mind. I always thought it was. I mean, Mankind, I guess it was kind of like being a babyface that was being manipulated, but he was still working for the heels and doing heel shit. Stunner. Yeah, our two champions and the two big companies are now The Rock and Goldberg. How crazy is that? And Goldberg would lose the following month to Kevin Nash. And there's Austin with the belt. And apparently they say that tonight is the first night of that scratch logo big blue belt. Which might explain why. I think that's why they had that winged eagle on Raw that time. Oh, and he's going to stun Mankind just for fun. When the title was vacated or whatever and they were going to present it and they had the winged eagle and Austin came in on the Zamboni. Maybe that's because the smoking skull was gone and the blue one was being repurposed. And so they just brought that out for show. I guess that might have been why. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the Chiefs. They got the ball? Maybe not. There's a replay of their last play. Mahomes scrambling. Oh, he's getting some yards. Oh, he's fine. Okay, looks like he got it first. And Austin's going to continue to waylay on The Rock. I remember this. I'm like, yeah, fuck you, Rock. We'll see you. We'll see you down the road. Because as much as I loved and hated this all at the same time. Because I loved that they swerved us. I loved that how well orchestrated it was. But I also knew that with The Rock winning the title meant that he would absolutely drop it to Steve Austin. It's just a matter of when. And with WrestleMania a few months away, that seemed like a perfect place to do it. I just didn't expect The Rock to drop the title 2 times prior to getting to WrestleMania in that program with Mankind. So this is a crazy time. It was fun. I am so glad we watched Survivor Series 1998. That one was long overdue. We might bust out 95 next week or 92. We're going to do one of them fun. I'm going to decide real soon which one that is. But yeah, we wrapped this thing up in about 3 hours and 1 minute, 2 minutes, something like that. So perfectly timed out stream here for this show. Thank you guys so much for being here to watch this one. I've been wanting to do this one for a long time. I have fond memories of it, and it was a great time in 1998. And this pay-per-view, like I said earlier, was, in my mind, an excellent display of WWE's time management. They were able to get all these matches in with the right amount of buys and, quick matches and quick roll-ups, like with Dwayne Gill and Boss Man getting beat like that. They were able to manage the time and still have enough time for a couple of buffer matches, like the Women's Championship and the Triple Threat tag at the end there. So a really fun pay-per-view to watch as always, guys. Thank you for being here on this great Sunday evening. Winter time and fall is officially here. It now gets dark early as hell here in the U.S. due to daylight savings time. So this should be a fun November and December of getting some wrestling done. And we'll be back at it 1 week from tonight, doing it again for another watch along. In terms of this week, the plan is to maybe be up here for a Raw review tomorrow, but if nothing special happens on Raw, I won't be, because I'm working on my big Screwjob 25th anniversary video that'll be up on Wednesday, because there will also be no watch along on Wednesday for Dynamite. So it'll be kind of a funny week this week with the schedule. I also have plans on Saturday, so I'm going to try to get some sort of a podcast to you, maybe an early Winged Eagle on Friday. As a matter of fact, I know that will be the plan. We might do something after SmackDown because I'm available on Friday night. So we will see. Friday night streams do not do good business. So we might try a Friday afternoon thing ahead of SmackDown to catch up on some wrestling news before we get to the weekend. But normally, you guys know what to expect week by week. This week, it's going to be a little funny. So if you are watching right now and you're not a subscriber, make sure you do that. Thumbs up button out the door. Thanks for being here as always, guys. It was a blast as always, and I will catch you real soon.